The stream is live now. Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
For me as a Muslim, I'm never concerned about what happens because I'm only doing it for the sake of God. So nothing's lost. Doing it for
Okay.
God. So if some more people watch it, that's good.
Right. We're finally live. Colin and I have been talking to each other perhaps for, oh my goodness, half an hour. Half an hour, and it was really quite interesting stuff. But let me summarize it. We were talking about Charlie Kirk and the culture war of America causing sectarianism and violence amongst Americans who don't agree with each other. The main parties of the culture war are the liberals and the conservatives, and obviously Kirk is a conservative that was assassinated. We still don't know by whom. It could have been by the deep state or a Ukrainian.
But the real thing we were talking about is that he was claiming that it's good to have weapons to allow free speech, and now his free speech has been ended by the weapons. So I was saying the theory has been disproved over and over again that weapons are a good idea.
I think maybe your reasoning is not quite right, since just because you say something that is right and you suffer for it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have said what you said, because we know from history that or even the concept of martyrdom, that people were frequently killed for saying things powerful people didn't like. So in terms of the death, the killing of Kirk, maybe people can even extract some benefits, like, well, it just shows how evil and crazy the liberals are, if indeed it was the liberals who killed him. The assassin is still at large. It could have been a deep state operative designed to frighten Americans from discussing controversial things at university campuses. I mean, or it could be a Ukrainian who didn't like the fact that Kirk didn't support the war in Ukraine. We still don't know, right?
I don't think it's deep state or anti-state. Somebody's scaring people from having the discussion, because Kirk was very much part of the state. His family, weren't they not close friends? Well, he's definitely a very close friend of Trump. So yeah, but yeah, there could be all sorts of theories of who did it.
Yeah, and we were discussing the right to bear arms, and I was saying that there's nothing in the Quran says that we don't have the right to bear arms, and that it wouldn't work telling Americans, when they are so frightened and angry, to give up their right to bear arms when they obviously hate their government and hate each other. So it might be a good idea if it could be done, but I don't think it will just anger them and frighten them even more if you try to take their weaponry away, is what I'm trying to say.
So the laws don't dictate what we have to do, right? So my argument is that the only way, the way things are going to improve fastest is not just changing the laws. The laws will reflect what the average person, how they behave and what they believe, right? So if the average person just stopped holding weapons, or if people convince each other having weapons is an insane thing, which, like, if I went to America, I would not even think of buying weapons and training to use them. It would just be adding fuel to fire. It's just a ridiculous idea. So the best way we can improve things in America, and definitely not go down that slippery slope in Europe, is to have reasoned, calm arguments, more calm and less divisive arguments. That's one thing, to avoid a silly culture war thing, because a culture war thing is just inability to be civil towards each other, but also just not have the weapons in the first place, not hold weapons. That's how you're going to change commits one person at a time. In terms of, does Islam allow you to hold weapons? You have the right to defend yourself as an organization, as far as I understand. My understanding of the Quran is you can't just be an individual fighting a war. So that's not an Islamic concept. It's you have to be part of the state fighting the war. It's not everybody fighting for themselves or fight. It's not, you can't even, there's so many restrictions on fighting your own government. Islam is really against you fighting your own government. There are all sorts of teachings of Islam, like if somebody there's a hadith that says something along the lines of, if somebody who's in charge of you hits you and you bear it patiently or something, there's some good in that, right? Basically, Islam recognizes that society is fragile. And this is what people in societies in developed societies don't realize. As soon as you start fighting your own government, then everything breaks down, like literally everything breaks down, like food supply and everything. And then you have things like what you have in Syria, which is, you don't have society, you don't have electricity, you don't have anything, right? So I would argue what you're saying about Islam doesn't stop you from bearing arms. I would say practically it does, because it doesn't say literally you cannot hold a weapon, but it does say you can't. The whole point of bearing arms, according to the American philosophy, is that you can fight back against your government. Islam says don't fight back against your government. Islam is saying...
I mean, what wasn't Muhammad fighting against the Meccan government?
So this is what he did. He left Mecca. So there wasn't a united government. There were just tribes. So he left Mecca, and then the Meccans chased him when he was in charge of a place called Medina, another city. Okay. And then they defended themselves.
Well, right. So yeah. I think, people may have arms and not use them against each other if they're, happy with the state of the laws, right? If people are not angry, if they're not frightened, then they're not going to use their arms against each other. And so it is necessary to create a society where people feel able to argue with each other without fear of being shot. And this is what I think Muslims ought to be arguing for. I don't think it's going to work, telling Americans you should give up your right to bear arms. I think Muslims should instead be saying, here's a list of things you could be doing to stop the division and the suspicion.
Oh, yeah. That's right. So basically, in short, the argument is that we don't need weapons. Weapons are just an uncivil way of relating to each other. You need to be able to have more polite, civil conversations. That's what civilization is. And I think if you had a Muslim society, you wouldn't have people shooting at each other, because I'm living in a Muslim society in Jordan, and because people are so friendly and brotherly to each other, sisterly to each other, people don't even steal from each other. I said many times, I'll leave the door open. My front door is unlocked most of the time.
But there's Iraq and Libya, and they're Muslim, and bad stuff happened.
Okay, so you're saying when Western countries, like before that, there would be no problems. But when Western countries go there and destroy the government and incite, they literally pay people to fight each other. Not everybody, but they make it so things are terrible. Then people do start fighting each other. But I bet if I went to a lot of these countries, let's say Libya, because right now Syria is people in Syria. I'm not taking Syria as an example because they're literally paying people to fight each other at the moment, right? That's what I understand, right? When I say they, I'm talking about CIA, right? So that's probably not a good example. But even then, some of my friends and family who go there, they don't shoot each other willy-nilly, right? Not the average person, right? You have to go out of town and to these places where the CIA have created factions where they're shooting each other. But if you go to Libya, for example, I bet, actually, I don't know the state of Libya at the moment. Yeah, so your argument is there are Muslim countries where people are fighting each other. I would say in those Muslim countries, people are really friendly to each other unless the CIA has paid factions to kill each other. That's what I would say.
Okay, and then I guess I'll have to say to you, if Islam is such a great religion, why aren't Muslims the one with a global empire? Why are they the eternal victims of Western imperialists and Jews, apparently?
That's right. So my answer would be is that the Muslim empire is coming back. It's quite clear to be seen in many ways, but they're taking over the Western empire. The Western empire, everybody can see, is falling apart. America's in trillions of dollars in debt. People are committing suicide en masse. It's the number one way that men kill themselves. Die. Young men die at the moment. So. One empire is falling apart. The Muslim empire is clearly taking over. Loads of people are saying that. I've done a survey when I was in London in Speaker's Corner, the famous international debate place, where all the white people are basically agreeing, and I've got a video of this, like, yeah, white people are dying out. So essentially white domination or white empires are dying out and the Muslims are taking over. So it's just a matter of time. That's the answer, would be,
Yes. On the question of the killing of Kirk, whichever way you slice it, I think every single political and social problem of America could be solved by Sharia. It's just that they're not ready to face it yet. But I think the arguments will become undeniable, because even though they want to think of themselves as Christian, they're not really. It's sort of like, you're a short man, but you want to think of yourself as tall. You're a poor man, but you want to think of yourself as rich. You can't keep up the act if you're, the opposite of the things that you claim to be. And eventually you'll be found out if you're not already found out. And
interestingly, go on.
The burden of telling yourself these lies will have an impact on your mental health, because being neurotic is just not being logical, right? So on the one hand, you claim everything's fine, you're top of the world. On the other hand, you're always complaining about your government and the Jews and the Muslims and whatever. So that's obviously not true that you're on top of the world and the best ever, race or nation. And this is something that's is a kind of mass neurosis, because they want to cling to this belief that they are top of the world, but they can see every day it's crumbling, and that's why they become violent, because they've lost all the arguments.
Yeah. Interesting. Charlie Kirk was part of that propaganda paid by Zionists, I'm sure, to actually pretend that we're still Christian and Christianity is the answer, even though everybody's leaving it. So interesting.
Colin, I hope you'll be fine with Jim Boughton from Australia joining us. He's Catholic.
Yeah, sure.
Great.
Oh, yeah, that would make it interesting. Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying?
So I think you were talking about this facade that the West is still pretending that it's Christian when it's not. And I was saying Charlie Kirk was part of that facade and propaganda supported by Zionists, but Zionists are anti-Muslim, and they're doing anything they can to keep Islam from taking over the West, and they think Christianity is their last hope.
Yes, I think the narrative that will work on Americans is that, look, the founding fathers, they were proto-Muslim, without realizing it, because the only holy book in the whole wide world that even talks about freedom of expression and freedom of belief is the Quran in chapter 2, verse 256. And I think Muslims can say that there is a verse in the Quran that supports their First Amendment. And therefore,
and it's not without, they knew, isn't like one of the founding fathers had a Quran and could possibly have based that idea on it. So ideas don't come from nowhere.
Yes. Welcome, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Hi. Interesting discussion.
So are you Catholic? Are you Christian? So I'm just intrigued. Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, certainly. Claire knows me way back. Yes, I'm a Catholic. I'm a traditional Catholic when I say that, pre-Vatican II, 1965. So it's called Latin, traditional. Anyway, yes.
How Christian are you in practice?
Well, not Christian. I'm a Catholic. And when I say
Catholic, you think that's a different thing? Okay.
Yeah. It's like saying Judeo-Christianity. It's like getting hyenas and lions and pretending they're good friends at savannah in Africa. We all know they're mortal enemies.
Right. Okay. You sound South African.
No, I'm Aussie. I'm from Sydney.
Oh, you're Aussie. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
I've got
Jim, you're saying Catholics are not Christian?
No.
I suppose an unusual claim.
No. This is the misnomer or misunderstanding, if I can elaborate.
Okay.
Claiming to be Catholicism, or Catholic, it's a big claim, and there's a lot of pushback. We are saying, I'll use an analogy. When you plant a seed, and that seed was planted 2,000 years ago with Jesus Christ in Palestine, Holy Land, and that tree, and there's a lot of development of early Christianity, which encompassed.
Okay, sorry, I shouldn't have raised that subject. I think you are a bit confused about, I mean, when you say Catholics are not Christian, and
no, I didn't say that. You put it.
Okay, fine. I accept you didn't say that, and we don't need to go into a long-winded explanation. You can carry on with whatever you were saying.
My claim, by saying Catholic, it encompasses Christianity. We are the leaders.
I think Christians are very confused about their identity, and that's why it's terrible for their mental health.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Sorry.
No, see, by saying a Catholic, it means Christian.
Okay, great.
Christian.
Sure, because we want to get to practicalities of how we're going to save society. So I think what Claire is saying, we don't want to get stuck on definitions and things.
Yeah,
that would
exactly.
be boring for everybody,
we
right?
want to talk about Charlie Kirk, because Troy in the chat is asking what all this has done to...
My view of Charlie Kirk is as follows. He is a Christian. He's not a Catholic. And
sure. Whatever he wants to define.
Like in Islam, you got Sufis, you got.
No, but they like to call themselves just Muslims. They don't like to overcomplicate it.
Let's look. First of all, he meant well, and he's very good for my side. And again, as a Catholic, I identify myself as a conservative. I mean. Now that's even debatable. What does that mean? But in these days, yeah. But anyway, when I say I wouldn't call it right wing. I would call anti-establishment. How about that? That's a nice phrase. And I think he has done a lot of good things. I do not agree with one thing.
So, okay, let's list some of the good things.
I do not agree. I honestly think he is has been hijacked by the small hats.
Okay, but I want to get to the point really quickly. Okay, so when you make a statement, let's support the statement, because I might agree with you. You said Charlie Kirk has been good for society or somehow, right? I would agree that he has been anti-trans. Would you agree with that? Are you anti the idea of men dressing up as women and walking into
we're talking about
women's changing
cultural things in Catholicism, which I interpret as true initial, the source of Christianity.
I'm not understanding what you're saying. So can you get to the point of
or anti-trans or transgenderism? This is all new terms. Last 20, 30, 40 years. You're talking about culture.
It's not a new term for solving an old problem.
Well, if you ask your grandfather or grandfather, tell me about transitioning.
No.
He would say, what the hell are you talking about?
No, but what would happen is the reason why he would say, what the hell are you talking about? Because your grandfather hopefully had some solid values, okay, which is the solid values are that when men have certain roles, women have certain roles, and there are clear differences. And the reason why the whole trans thing happened is because we lost those values. So it's an old problem, just new term.
We lost those values.
Yeah. So how did?
Excuse me. Shit doesn't happen. Ask us. I agree. What you just said. We lost it. Yes.
Bingo. Oh, so you agree with me? Yeah, so what are you telling me to stop it?
Well, who has lost those values? The following question, as a lawyer,
yes,
I ask
good.
You.
That's a great question.
Who are the instigators? Shit does
sure.
Not happen.
The people who lost the values are ex-Christians. Are ex-Christians, because that's a good way of summarizing it. The Westerners, they're not Muslims. Muslims are the opposite of that.
When you say
so I'm saying the whole of Western society are ex-Christians. Would you agree with that?
You know, when you talk about Western society, you're talking about Christendom.
Yeah, but it doesn't really exist Christendom anymore because it's a minority religion in the UK.
I concur.
Yeah.
I concur.
Cool. Sure. So that's my answer. Ex-Christianity.
I fully agree with you.
And I would blame Christianity for that.
Well, I would argue, there's a worm in an apple. It's called the fifth column. If you ever heard of Spanish Civil War, the fifth column, that's where the if you get a worm in an apple, what happens? It's degenerate. And it becomes what?
Okay, so we've got degeneracy, but where did the degeneracy come from? It doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from, I would say, one reason is Christianity. Now, not original Christianity of Jesus, but the made-up Christianity of St. Paul, for example, or maybe the watered-down version of Jesus' teaching. So, for example, did you know the Bible says women should cover their hair? And most Western women don't do that. But if you go back 100 years in England, Christian women look like Muslim women because they all covered their hair. Have you seen the videos of how?
Don't go 100 years, please. I'm 63.
No, we are.
I'm 63 here in Sydney, Australia, and I was a young lad here in Sydney, and when my grandmother went to a mass, they all had veils over their
That's
head.
right. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have to go back 100 years. Yeah.
Thus, I totally concur and agree what you're saying. And
cool.
That's why I called myself a traditional Catholic. When I say traditional, I love my Latin language and Latin mass. And that's pre-Vatican II. if you know anything.
So
1965. And there's a lot of points I agree with you, sir.
Fantastic. I think we should, because I'm not, by the way, some people might think I like debating. I don't like debating. I like making progress. And I think we're making progress, that we're agreeing on a lot of things.
It is good to debate and we can agree and you get all the issues.
Yeah.
Winners and losers. But, you know,
maybe the word is I like debating, but I don't like arguing or something like that. Or maybe I just like sharing and making progress.
You can, because people get ad hominem. And when I say, you know, and when once you reduce the debate down, you look like this, you like this, and this is no longer a debate. It's a hate. And you always got to get hate or personal views out of things. And when you say debate, it's very healthy if you're educated and open to opposing views.
Yes, exactly. And if you don't hate each other, I don't hate you, by the way, and I'm sure you don't hate me.
Absolutely. I can't. I will vigorously disagree with many political, religious, blah 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 issues, but you know, when you hate someone, that is a sin in a theological. In Catholic theological sense, you cannot.
And
I was just saying, what is your point, really, Jim? Can you bring yourself to agree that Christianity cannot be used as a way of uniting Westerners? Can you agree, or do you still want to use it?
Well, I always have hope. The reason I say. And if you know Christianity,
I'm not going to get a straight answer. You're going to waffle for 5 minutes.
Well, no, I'm not going to.
Okay, like 30 seconds maximum, and I'll give a 30-second answer as well.
I'll land my point. Jesus basically said there's going to be fifth column people against Christianity, but I'm the way, I'm the truth, and I am the winner. And that's my hope.
Okay, so you've just got hope.
Columnists.
Yeah. So you've just got hope on one saying of Prophet Jesus, or Jesus, however you want to talk about him. And my answer as a Muslim is, statistically, we can see there isn't much hope in Christianity because it's dying away. And also logically...
I fully agree.
Great. And logically, because there are contradictions in the Bible and there are impracticalities in the Bible.
Stop there. I'm not a theologian.
I'm making an argument. I thought you said you're open. I thought you said you're opening to listening to people. So can you just listen to me? I'm giving it 15. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. So there are contradictions in the Bible. They're endless. Anybody can find them, like age differences about one person, whatever, all this kind of stuff, right? And also there are logical problems, like, you know, the Trinity. So it makes it hard to follow a religion that isn't easily understood. I mean, doesn't make sense to most people, right? But the Quran is very simple. There's one God.
No.
Etc.
Not most people. Thus far as we speak, 2025.
So you think Trinity is understood by most people?
Just listen. Most people in a Western world, or I wouldn't say the world, are Christians.
No. What?
No, and just hold your horses.
Okay, come. I'll hold my horses.
And Islam, in its various forms, is absolutely taking over. And I totally agree. These are the facts. Whether I love it or hate it or disagree, it's irrelevant. It's before us. And I agree with what you're saying. It is like the fall of the Roman Empire. Each civilization.
So you support Sharia then, do you, Jim?
I'm sorry?
If you agree with us?
No, I don't, because I am not a Muslim. I'm a Catholic.
But if you knew that most Sharia is in line with conservative or traditional Christianity, then would you support Sharia?
You're mixing politics, culture with theology, with belief. With theology is belief of one's
They're all
purity.
linked. They're all linked.
No.
So
You know what?
You
I think-
are asking me, as a European white person, Christian, not Christian, Catholic, the founder of Christianity, to renege my heritage, my culture, to a newcomer, which is yourself living in
there's only
London.
one Abrahamic God. Can we agree on that?
No, just hold on. We all agree. You agree.
No, you're going to carry on for 5
No,
minutes.
No,
No,
you
I
agree.
get it.
And you are, what the fuck? No, with all full respect, what the hell are you doing in London? Both of you. And
I'm
my
not in
son
London,
is
I'm in
London.
Jordan.
You want
Are
to
in
kick us
Jordan?
out,
Full
Yeah.
but can
Middle
you get
East.
it together to do it? Can you?
Full respect. You're in Jordan. Now, your
Yeah.
king, I mean,
Yeah, king.
you're the king married to the American woman. I hope I
Yeah.
don't get you in trouble.
She was. That's his mum. But yeah, actually, I'm not sure. Is she married to an
Yeah.
American? No, it's Palestinian. Palestinian.
Yeah, well,
But his dad had 4 wives. One was British, one was American, one was some other
I'm
things.
talking about who's the short.
You might be thinking of. They're both short. Both my dad and the current king are short. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to get. This is not my channel. I hope I.
Yeah.
I don't want to misspoke.
Yeah.
And I know Claire. She's a lovely woman.
Yeah.
Look, and this is the thing I'm talking. Now we're talking about politics. Is shutting up. What's happening in Gaza is a genocide. And
Okay.
can
I ask you?
So let me finish. All the Arab world, all the Muslim world. I'm talking about Jordan, Syria, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, you name it, are shutting fucking up. They're in a pocket of US of A. Money talks, bullshit walks. And this is talking about double things. And as a Catholic, I find that mind-boggling.
Actually, I don't know what your point is. So can I ask you yes or no?
The point is, it's your race, it's your religion. People are dying as we speak in 45 square kilometers called Gaza.
Yes.
Men, women,
and what are you doing about it?
Well, I am talking and writing to my priests, to my cardinals.
What are they going to do about it?
And I was in a march.
Displacement therapy.
I was in a march.
Okay, Jim. I
nice one.
Okay. He's gone. So he's not making sense. We know he's had a few drinks, and he will probably never make sense as long as he chooses to remain Christian. And he already knows, as an Australian living in Australia, that Australia is not Catholic. So what is the point even of being Catholic? I mean, it's not that, Muslims are saying, all other religious places of worship are going to be closed down.
Your mic. I don't know what's happened to your mic. Can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Right. So it's not that. Would you agree with me that Islam is not saying it's going to close down non-Muslim places of worship? That's not the agenda of Islam, is it?
Yeah, Islam allows people to practice their religions. Yeah.
There will be synagogues. There will be churches.
There will be. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's historically
what
Islam
is Jim's problem anyway? It's that he won't acknowledge that he's wrong. He's going to say, well, Catholicism, we were kings, and it's like, yeah, you were, but it's over. And
sure,
it's no longer working.
Yeah. I mean, I think we have to talk to Jim in a way to tell him, oh, we do agree. And then he said, yes, we do. And then give him short questions. But if you say, no, short and precise questions, do you follow Sharia is not a precise question because most people don't know what Sharia is. So if I said, Sharia, do you believe in this aspect of Sharia, which is you should be kind to your mum? And then you just say yes or no. Okay, that's Sharia, for example. Okay, people don't realize, people think Sharia is just things that are enforceable by law. No, Sharia, what does it literally mean? The way or something? What does it mean? It's just an Arabic word, but it's not like, it's not something that you can necessarily enforce by law. It's just the way of Islam. So what you told me what Sharia meant once, didn't you?
Well,
And who's
I'm
back?
saying it's laws derived from the Quran, and then then you have to ask them, what about the Quran that you find objectionable, and they
Sure. So
say,
that's what
I'm
I'm
not
saying.
going to read that stupid book.
Yeah. So most
And
people don't know enough to answer the question. Do they
yeah,
agree with
they
Sharia?
won't read it. You see, they
That's
hate it
fine.
so
So
much
we
they
have to.
can't pick it
So
up. And Jim
if you want,
once made me think that he'd read it,
yeah, sure.
but he
If you want to
hasn't.
get people on board, you'd have to be nice and easy with them. So I can't see, because of the comment. Oh, Jim's back, right? Jim, can I ask you, one step at a time? Do you? There's this is no, Jim. Let me ask a really short question. In Islam, the Sharia part of Sharia is to be kind to your mum. Do you agree with that part of Sharia?
Absolutely.
See, there we go. This is the beginning of agreeing with Sharia. Okay. But there are some more difficult parts of Sharia that you might not accept. Do you?
Can I stop you there? Just ask you a
Yeah.
question. This is you're claiming being kind to your mum as being a monopoly of
No, I'm not.
Sharia law. Well, there
No.
you are. The reason I
I'm just
said
asking you, do you agree with
no,
Sharia? Sharia is
yeah,
a bit of a complicated
yeah,
question, isn't it? So I'm breaking it
from
down.
your so this is look to every coin there's what's the say, heads and tails.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
but we want to make
So
it short because people
now
are
you
getting
asked
annoyed.
me. Just listen.
No, I didn't ask you.
You asked me a very normal question. Do you agree that
Yes.
you? No, I said yes.
Good.
Now
So because
the other side is Christian. Same thing. If you ask a Christian or a Catholic, and that's the reason I answered yes from a Catholic perspective. I said
okay,
yes.
sure.
In
So
Catholicism, in Christianity, I mean it's absurd. Of course you do respect your mum. See, so this is the divergence from your thinking. Oh, you just agree with Sharia, with
no,
Islam.
I didn't say that. I'm saying
No,
let's
I know
step by
you didn't
step.
say that. Yeah, all right. So we both agree from a Christian / Catholic perspective and Islam perspective. We concur. All right, let's go. Next question.
Sure. Okay, great. Yeah. So another thing that I think, let's talk about very practical matters, right? So in terms of justice, right? So is your perspective, because I think you're saying you're talking from a Christian perspective, and that's a good point.
Absolutely.
So we want
Yes.
to see where Sharia law or Islamic teachings diverge from Christian teachings, right? So in Islamic teachings, if you have a murderer, somebody who's murdered somebody and who does not repent, because you're allowed in Islam, if somebody repents, you have to give them you have to encourage forgiveness if they repent. But let's say a person does not repent after murdering somebody. In Islam, we have capital punishment. You should kill that person. From a Christian perspective, do you offer the other cheek, as Jesus says, or do you say that person should be killed because they killed somebody else? What's your perspective on that?
Well, very, very, very deep and good question you just
Thank
asked.
you.
Absolutely right. I'll tell you, this is
What's right? Do you agree in capital punishment then?
Yes.
Okay.
Personally, I agree with capital punishment.
Great.
Now,
So that means, do you disagree with Jesus?
Just by saying that, I think I've offended current so-called Catholics of the Western world, not the whole world. There's 1.4 billion Catholics.
That's fine. But then do you disagree with offering the other cheek? Because that's a teaching of Jesus.
Absolutely.
In that scenario.
And
that means
that's my personal criticism.
Great. So you personally are more Muslim than Christian.
Criticism of modern post 1965 Vatican II.
But that's what Jesus taught, not post.
No,
this is pre 1965.
Feminized Catholicism. I'm not talking about Protestantism or Orthodoxy. Feminized Catholicism. You know, look. You know.
But Jesus said, "Offer the other cheek."
Okay, can I just digress for 5 seconds? You know what happened in the last 2 or 3 days? LGBTQ people were allowed in St. Peter's Basilica. Look, let's talk about, self-hate or
no, but let's stick to one topic, guys.
Oh my God!
Claire wanted me to kind of manage this conversation, so I'm gonna keep interrupting if I feel like you're off track, please, right? Yes. I think you're very good, but can you just? I will interrupt so that we stay on one topic, and the topic is that you've just said that you prefer. I'm going to summarize, and you can tell me how I'm wrong. You prefer the Islamic teaching that I just put forward to you than Jesus' teaching of offering the other cheek in the scenario of somebody who's non-repentant about murdering somebody. So that makes you more Muslim than Christian. Do you see any flaw in the argument that I just made?
Yes, I do. The whole idea of Christianity or Catholicism is forgiveness. And it's so hard. This is the grappling thing, or the enigma of Christianity, as you call it, and Catholicism. Absolutely.
The enigma. So basically,
it's a yin and yang. Yin and yang.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense.
Team up. Trinity, which doesn't make sense. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically Christianity is based on stuff that doesn't make sense, but you just have to believe it.
Not exactly. Believe. Exactly.
Okay, can I ask you?
It's called belief is not some preacher saying that. It is, if I'm talking about now, I will go, again, I always refer to Catholicism. Look, if the religion of Catholicism and church fathers, we haven't got time.
Okay, I don't know what you're saying now. So, are you drunk? Because a lot of people are asking.
I am not. No, I'm not. I'm not drunk. I know.
Okay.
There's a lot of accusations.
How many drinks have you had, Jim?
I've got a. Tomorrow's Friday here in Sydney.
So you're preparing for the weekend ahead of time.
I've got a brief. I've got to get a court at 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh, I see.
So
hope it goes well.
Well, I hope so too. It is
hopefully you haven't done anything bad.
9:50 and 9:45 p.m.
Well, I'm going to leave now because I've gone beyond like what I normally do. But Jim, I think he pressed some incorrect button and left by accident. Really?
No. I removed him.
Are you?
Okay.
You
just drunkenly keep interrupting. So I thought.
So that was interesting, though. Deep down, he believes in Islam more than Christianity, like he just said. Because that's how. As soon as you attempt to be logical, you cannot really stick to Christianity. He said something hilarious, which was that Christianity is based on things that don't make sense. And that's
the mystery of it and everything. Jim was the one who told me, you can be a Catholic who's a communist or an atheist. He actually said that to me. I can find you where he said that. So obviously Christianity is only a cultural affiliation and is nothing to do with your convictions. And your
That's
conviction
right.
is something you really believe in, not something you pretend to believe in because you're Catholic or Muslim or whatever, or it's certainly not something you just hope is true. It's what you really believe in, right? And
Yeah.
and these people don't understand the difference, and they don't care when you explain to them, or they're too drunk to understand anything when you talk to them.
I think you have to be drunk to be. I don't want to be just insulting, but you do have to get drunk at some point if you're going to try to attempt to hold on to the beliefs of Christianity, which Jim himself said don't make sense. You just believe them. So I actually generally understand why he would be drunk, because like I would understand why atheists want to be drunk, because the world doesn't make sense and it's quite depressing that it's all random and pointless. And being Christian, you would want to be drunk as well because it doesn't make sense either, and you're losing. And yeah. So anyway,
people drink to forget the
yeah.
cognitive dissonance that their government requires to live with, because all these lies that they already tell themselves, and the government gives them more lies to believe in on top of all that. That's why they're all going crazy.
Yeah. Yep. The West is going crazy for that reason. They need to take more and more drugs to deal with it. So that probably explains the drug opiate epidemic. Anyway, cool. Thanks talking to you for having me on your show, and chat to you next week, hopefully.
All right. Take care, and thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you. I appreciate what you just said. And he's gone.
Jim, I mean, I get it that, it's hard to acknowledge that Christianity has lost its power, but...
Absolutely, I agree with you.
It's time to acknowledge it openly, because it happened a long time ago for Catholics.
Look. Christianity in Western Europe, I'm talking about, you're in London or in England or Canada, America, Australia. Yes, I agree with you. I absolutely agree. Doesn't mean that I gotta take sides with the winning party.
Yes, you do, because it would help. It would help your children, your grandchildren, and your descendants.
But can't you say what you just said? Exactly. So poignant what you just said, Claire. Giving up your heritage, your culture.
No, I think you're assuming
your essence.
You're not listening, Jim. No. Muslims don't close down places of religious worship that are not Muslim. Is this what you fear?
Claire, if I went to any, say, Saudi Arabia or whatever, you name any Arabian country, and I want to open up a church.
Yeah, no, you won't be allowed to, because these...
Oh! Why not?
Because they don't follow their rules properly.
The
Gulf states are Gulf kingdoms. The Gulf kingdoms are run by absolutely... No, you're not listening. Jim, you asked a question, I'm answering it.
Go ahead.
So you're a lawyer. You should be able to understand the difference between a monarchy and a republic. And why the founding fathers founded the American Republic. And I've already pointed out to you that the Gulf states are Gulf kingdoms. The Gulf kingdoms are absolute monarchies, and you're pretending that they follow. Islam does not support absolute monarchy. The caliph has to be a republican.
Why not Christian, any religion, you cannot open up a church or...
Yes, because the Saudis don't follow Islam properly. And you can imagine what it would be like if you were an Islamic scholar in Saudi. You'd be afraid of being thrown into jail, being executed or fined or forced into exile if you have the wrong interpretation of the Quran. You know there is history of that under Christian kingdoms.
that's
You must
right.
have heard of William Tyndale. Have you heard of William
Yes, I have.
Tyndale?
Yes, I have. Yes,
You
I have.
do. Okay, so
Yes,
what happened to
Tyndale.
him?
Yeah. Well, he got killed. All right. So
Yeah,
can I ask
he
you?
was executed by
Hmm,
Henry VIII for having
hmm,
the wrong interpretation of the
hmm.
Bible. So,
But
what do you
let's not
think?
digress. What I'm asking, in any Islamic country, let's say Turkey, which is part of European
Yeah,
Union.
it's secular, so it's not under
No,
Sharia.
hold
No, no,
on,
no, no, no.
hold on, hold on. Let
The
me. I've got a friend. I've
republic,
got
the
a friend.
only Islamic state. Why don't you listen? The only Islamic state that is closest to what Muslims should be following is the Iranian Republic. It's a republic of Iran. They have a supreme leader who is a final word on um, the state religion, and that's how it's supposed to be, or the closest it is. So the other Islamic states are basically countries that are full of Muslims who don't follow Sharia, or follow Sharia in a way that is not strictly correct, with Islamic scholars in fear of their absolute monarchs. So you know what happened to William Tyndale, and I think you'll have to acknowledge the fear of Islamic scholars in the Gulf
Can I,
kingdoms.
can I ask you a simple question? Please, Claire, name me one Islamic country which will allow Christians to settle and build or open up their church.
Then Malaysia for one,
No,
Indonesia for one.
no, no. Now
Are you
you.
saying there are no Christians in Indonesia
I
and no
didn't say that.
churches?
I'm talking about Middle East.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
So
The Gulf kingdoms are not, monarchy is not
excuse me,
halal. Can you
if
understand
I
this?
listen, if I, as an Australian, want to move to Doha, and that is, you know, the assassination, I'm not going to go there. If I want to go there tonight, get a
United
plane, and
Arab
let me finish.
Emirates. You're talking about
Whatever,
UAE,
any, you name it, Kuwait, whatever. If I want to go there
Qatar.
tonight, Qatar, all right, and I land in there, yeah,
I
15
don't
hours,
know why you are pretending
and
that these Islamic states have an independent foreign policy.
no,
That
I'm not,
there are the
no,
vassal states
you're
of
not,
America. Do you not
no,
understand this,
can
Jim?
I,
Do you,
can I, as an Australian, land and have all the paperwork there,
you're
and I'm going to preach Christianity? Am I allowed or not in those states, Middle Eastern states?
I've told you they are
The
absolute
answer is
monarchies. Do
no.
you not
But
understand
yes,
what an
no.
absolute monarchy
Monarchy
is?
is the system of government. I'm talking about freedom of religion. Am I, as a
Well, you're
Christian,
not going to get a correct interpretation of
exactly, bingo,
any holy
and
book
that is,
if you
don't,
are afraid as an Islamic scholar of your absolute monarch
reflect
punishing
exactly,
you.
and I respect that. Claire,
No, you don't.
yes, I do, because I
Qatar is
respect.
a hereditary
But
monarchy.
I'm
Do you
not going there.
understand
That's
what I mean
politics.
when I
That's
say it's
politics.
a
Claire,
monarchy?
that's
Do you even
politics, and
understand
that
what
is
it
a
is?
system. Yes, good. I respect that. No
No, you don't,
Christian,
because that's the
no
reason
Christian
why
or any
Islamic
religion
scholars
allowed
are
to
afraid.
preach. No one outsiders are allowed. I fully agree.
Yeah,
And
because it's an
respect that.
absolute monarchy, right?
I don't care.
Why
I
don't you
respect
why
those
why
people.
don't you just shut up and understand what I'm trying to say? You don't understand what I'm trying to say, do you?
Go ahead.
So I've said Qatar is an absolute monarchy, and even if an Islamic scholar says, "Oh, actually, the Quran supports the First Amendment," what do you think that absolute monarch is going to do to that Islamic scholar?
I don't know.
You don't know. The same thing, but maybe not so cruel as what William Tyndale happened to Tyndale would happen, right? So if you're an Islamic scholar and your absolute monarch doesn't agree with your interpretation of the Quran, you can expect imprisonment, maybe execution, maybe a fine, maybe exile. Don't you understand, Jim? Don't you understand?
Religion. My question
don't you understand? Because I don't think you're taking my point.
Why are you in Britain preaching Islam? It's a Christian country, Christian continent.
No, it's not, because Christendom ended in 1918. Do you understand what?
Well, I agree.
Right. So you, a lawyer, are not. Are you still pretending you don't know what I mean by an absolute monarchy? Are you saying
might is right? Might is right.
Are you saying that you don't know what an absolute monarchy is?
The winner. So this is the Zionist thing. If I can kill
why are we on to Jews again?
No, exactly. But that's what's happening.
No, don't say exactly. Because
you're not Jews, a Zionist. There's a difference between Jews and Zionists. Please. So you don't even know that, do you?
No, I know exactly what I mean.
Yeah. No, conflate what I said. You are Europe. What the F are you doing in London?
What is your point? Are you saying?
My point is, what the F are you and probably 10 million plus people of your faith doing in Europe?
Are you assuming? Are you saying I'm Muslim again?
No.
Are you saying I'm Muslim? Are you?
What are you?
I am an agnostic, political, and moral philosopher. So I am not Muslim, but I want you to understand, and you fail to because you're perpetually drunk and you can't understand simple points.
Claire, you're from, as I understand, please correct me, you are from Asia, Malaysia or Singapore.
Yes, what about it?
Yes, why aren't you in your homeland?
Okay, so what you're saying is if you don't like it in the West, fuck off, right? That's what you're saying. Because eventually this is what you people always say. This is what you always say. That's the only, your last defense.
Islam is saying from Islam, if I go
No. Yeah, I get it. You want to pick me out for saying something you don't like. But no.
Exactly.
Exactly what? What are you saying exactly to?
I agree with that.
What are you agreeing?
So
what are you agreeing to? You're not even making sense.
F off. So why can't the other side say the same thing?
So really, you're saying that as a Catholic, Catholicism has failed, but you still want to carry on with it. And actually, you live in Australia, and it's not even Catholic. It's no. So what are you proposing? What are you proposing?
What am I proposing?
Yeah.
I'm not proposing.
You're not proposing anything. You just want to be left alone in peace. Well, you won't be left alone in peace, will you? You won't be left alone in peace, and you have no solutions. You have no solutions, and that's it. Why the hell are we supposed to listen to you?
Have I got a right to retaliate?
Go on, retaliate.
Yes.
Okay, so what is it? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do, Jim?
As the Palestinians in Gaza have absolutely
no. Why are you talking about the Palestinians?
Christians have a right in their land, in their continent.
Okay, do it then. Do it.
Well, that's what's happening in England, in France, in Spain.
Really? What's happening?
In Germany.
What's happening?
Stupid.
What's happening?
Whoa.
What's happening?
Getting closer.
Right. You're saying eventually we're going to lose our shit and we're going to kick everyone out. That's your hope.
Absolutely.
Okay,
hope.
so
I'm not
you're going to
hoping,
wish
but
upon a
no,
star.
I'm not hoping.
You're going to wish upon a star.
No.
I want to know
See, you're
that this
putting words
idea
in
has
my mouth.
been in.
I am trying to
You
avoid.
must have heard of Enoch
I
Powell.
am
Have you
trying
heard of
to
Enoch
avoid
Powell?
this.
Have you heard of Enoch
Yes,
Powell?
I have.
Right.
Come
So
on.
when
Come
did
on.
he make his rivers
Yes,
of blood speech?
68. 1968.
Yes, and
Right.
did anything happen?
Just listen. Was he right or wrong?
Yeah. So let's say he was right. Let's say he was right. What did you people do about it? What did you people do about it? What did you people do about it?
Right?
What did you do?
No.
What did you people do about it?
Don't deflect.
What did you people do about it?
Please.
Nothing.
Please.
Fuck all.
Exactly.
Yeah. Other than
agree.
blame the Jews and
I agree.
moan about the Muslims, what did you people do?
Click.
Fuck all.
I agree. Exactly. I agree.
Okay, so what's next, Jim? What's next?
Oh, I agree, but don't take
what's next, Jim?
You're
what's next, Jim?
You're asking of me and Christians, particularly Catholics, to convert to.
No, I'm not asking you to do that.
Well,
no. We've known each other for a long time, and you persist in misunderstanding me. I'm not asking you to convert to anything. I am not Muslim. Why don't you shut the fuck up and listen? Why don't you shut the fuck up and listen? Why don't you? I'm not Muslim. I'm not asking you to convert to Islam. No, and what do you think?
Look at your face. Why haven't you never come on camera?
Because I want to use the brand of Islam to sell what I have, which is secular Quranism, which you can read. Can you read? Do Muslims acknowledge secular Quranism as Islam? Have you even spoken to a Muslim? Have you?
Excuse me. Why?
Apart from Khalid, have you even spoken to a Muslim?
Look, I've got.
You're too full of hate to even have a direct conversation with him.
No,
it's only okay. So which Muslim have you ever spoken to?
Claire.
You're changing the subject. You have never, ever spoken to a Muslim, right? Because you're too full of hate.
Why are you saying I've never spoken to a Muslim?
Okay, so why do you keep misunderstanding me? So,
can I say, Claire, secular? What does secular mean?
It means that it's Sharia for non-Muslims.
No. What? No. What does secular mean? What does secular mean? The word.
It means
secular.
You don't have to believe in God to adopt these principles.
No, you don't have to. Full stop. Secular. You do not believe in God.
EU law is secular, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Secular.
So I have created a legal system, and the problem I have with you, Jim, is that you have never ever understood what I'm saying because you're perpetually drunk. Right? You have never understood anything of what I've said. You keep conflating me with a Muslim. You keep accusing me of being Muslim. And you, of all people who is legally trained, you can't even understand what I'm saying. So I'm saying secular Quranism is a legal system.
Ambiguity is your word. You deflect every time. So why have secular and Quranism? Quran.
Okay. So you have never read anything that I have written because you're just too busy getting pissed, right?
Secular, not believing in any.
Yeah, I'm saying that there are principles.
Quran, believing in Quran, in God or Allah, in one sentence. Please explain.
So I've said it's Sharia for non-Muslims, and you have pretended that you've read the Hadith, you've read the Quran, you've never done such a thing. You don't even talk to Muslims, and ultimately what you're doing is repeat the same Islamophobic trope because you keep.
Can I say something?
No, shut up.
My client.
Shut up.
You know what key
Shut the
fuck is?
fuck up.
How are you? Key fuck. That's for my client.
So Jim asks me questions and he never lets me answer because he is perpetually drunk. After all these years, and Jim and I have known each other for a number of years. That's why I know he lives in Sydney. I know he's a lawyer and he hasn't taken the trouble to understand what secular Quranism is, which is a legal system that does not require belief in God to apply and interpret. It's as simple as that, but he has never bothered to understand after all these years of knowing me, even though he is a practicing lawyer, because he is perpetually drunk. So if I were to ask him now what I mean by that, he won't be able to repeat it because he's too drunk to understand what I'm saying. So what did I just say, Jim? What did I just say? Did you understand a word, or were you too drunk?
Absolutely. One, you want me to go in a point form? All right, I will tell you what you just said. You said, I'm perpetually drunk. I never bothered to do my research on secular Quranism. And I tried my best.
So, what is secular Quranism?
Well, secular, it is your version, which I tried to do research. I never got into the bottom of it. And
you know how to use Google? You know how to use AI? You could even have ordered the book I wrote, but it would just never occur to you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Claire, look, let's not get ad hominem. I mean, he said, she said, and we can get, you said this, I said that.
You haven't read the Quran.
The situation. Well,
no, you have no time. When will you have time?
Just listen to me.
My book is a very short book. It would never occur to you.
No, I have not read your book.
Of course you haven't.
All right.
I know people who have read.
Send me a link and I shall. Is it available or what?
Yes, it's available on Amazon.
Well, please send me a link and I
will send you a link by email.
Please. All right.
I'm sure I did before, but as usual.
I'm busy. Look.
I know. But I mean, okay, I will send you a link. I will even send you a reading of it if you're too mean to buy the book.
When I have time, honestly, I'm really, 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 really busy. But anyway, look, I'm relaxing at the moment.
I know.
Please, you've got to understand my perspective, please. That's all I'm asking.
I know you're a busy man.
I will look and read your book, all right? I'll purchase it.
Thank you. Then everything will become clear. And you will know that there is no agenda to close down places of religious worship that are not mosques.
All right.
Okay, well, I'm very happy that we've at least come to this understanding.
We agree to disagree, and I appreciate. This is it is so I don't know, ironical on the day when Charlie Kirk, again we didn't mention him, got killed, assassinated. It is a tragedy. I don't care whether you love him or hate him or whatever. But the politics is reduced down to this is the lack of communication. People, the left, the right, or whatever wing or whatever opinion, religious, political you have, there's no discourse, civil discourse. This is the problem.
Well, I think the problem is, goes back to Christianity. Surely that Christians practice heretic burning. They did, don't you?
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah, but
and why did they do that? Because they couldn't win the argument. No, it's not just history. If you can't win the argument, through rational argument. The next step is violence if you don't want to give up your ideas.
So you just made a statement which is absolutely factually, historically correct. So you're talking how many centuries ago?
Yes, but you see, it's all linked to the American
I'm asking you,
Republic.
how many centuries ago you just made a statement? Tell me.
Yes, okay. So the last person to be executed in Britain was Thomas Aikenhead in 1697. And he was hanged until he was dead, right? He was hanged in Edinburgh, this medical student, only 20 years old, because he denied the Trinity. And the last person to be burnt at the stake was in 1612, and it was Edward Whiteman. And before 80 years was up, the American Revolution broke out. I mean, it's all linked, right?
History, yes, fine.
But it's linked. The founding fathers rejected Christianity because it supported absolute monarchy.
Now, can I ask you, what you just said, I agree 100%. Historical, archival proof. Fact. Now, how do you translate that 400-500 years ago to 2025 in your
I am trying to, if you'd only listen. So what the founding fathers were trying to do is assert the right of American citizens in their republic to enjoy their First Amendment rights.
Excuse me, you're now introducing England and American history, founding fathers, another continent, another century.
But they were English by descent, were they not? So, the founding fathers, they spoke English, didn't they?
Yeah. So what?
So they were rejected. What evidence of what?
What you're asserting that Catholicism or Christianity is evil.
Okay, now you're conflating the wars of the Reformation with the founding of the American Republic. I'm saying Catholicism lost the war of the Reformation because the first. No, please stop saying yes. I know you haven't even allowed me to make my point. So I'm saying the Spanish Empire was Catholic and the British Empire was Protestant. And so is the American Empire. It is Protestant by identity. So you could say
Freemasonic,
that Catholicism is lost the wars of the Reformation.
Absolutely.
And Catholicism originally was used to defend the divine right of kings, of absolute monarchs to rule. And this failed.
The French Revolution, yes.
And you could go back even further and say the reason why Constantine converted to Christianity was to prevent the decline and fall of Rome. But it still declined and fell.
Well, Constantine, now you're going back to...
Yeah, but I'm saying it's important to understand all these historic milestones of Christianity.
What did happen? Yes, correct. All right. Yeah,
So I'm saying it's failed. Christianity has failed these monarchs. So think of what it's going to do to you, commoner.
No. What do you mean it failed?
It failed to protect. It failed to protect absolute monarchy.
Well, it failed with the French Revolution.
Yes.
1789.
Yes, and after that, the Russian revolutions showed that the Russians were thoroughly fed up with absolute monarchy, and they killed the entire royal family.
If you think of the tree, there's a big tree, and there's branches. The first branches was 1054, which is the Eastern Orthodox Church from the Catholicism. So you got the death of Christ, 33 AD, so forth. I'm not going to argue now about the date and carbon dating, but that's accepted. And then you got the whole formation of Catholicism, the Church Fathers, various councils, Nicene, and you got St. Augustine, blah, blah, blah. Let's not go there. And then you got and it's called the Dark Ages. You know why it's called the Dark Ages? I call it the Peaceful Ages. There was a form and order. There was a hierarchy. The king, the clergy, the intellectuals, the peasants, and everybody knew their form. And there was no revolutions till 1054 in terms of theology. Now, the break of the
1054.
Roman,
what happened in 1054?
Well, the Eastern Empire.
You're talking about the Great Schism, aren't you?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Okay,
And
so that was when the Roman Empire split.
Well, this is the death, the beginning of a split of Christianity. The second split, schism, as you call it correctly, is with the Henry VIII, the Reformation. Okay, I'm talking about Martin Luther, John Knox, and all the other people involved. And this is the build-up, and then 1777, the build-up of people who are arguing not against the king, they're arguing against the existence of God. This is modernism. Modernism is basically there's no God. That's the essence of the thing, and we can go right up to Marx and Hegel and all that. But what I'm going through is the French Revolution. This is the 1789, and it's a landmark. I mean, there's a lot of other things happen. I'm talking about Voltaire, Montesquieu, etc., all these philosophers who are anti-church, and they basically say, we, the people, are supreme. There's no God. Equalite, liberté, and fraternité. The three words, equality, liberty, and fraternity, I think the poisons of our modern world. Modern history starts there. It's a denial. It's becoming secular. It's fighting the church. Which is the biggest church? Not the Protestant. To this day, the biggest church, the Christian church, is Catholicism. It's being decimated as we speak.
Yes, because people don't believe in it anymore.
It's not people. No one asks people. Nobody. The revolutions never begins from the people. It's the intellectuals.
No, I'm talking. Yes, of course, it's always led by intellectuals, but I'm saying that if you want to explain the Trinity,
people who were organized. Who organized the French Revolution?
Look, you're going to blame the Jews. Do you blame the Jews for the French Revolution?
No, no, of course not. But there are, there are certain books. There are influences, all right, influences. I mean, we can say no. It's not. It's so easy to blame any Jews or whatever, anybody. It's so easy. It's not being very, very, very. You can't put 100% on any person, on any people. Look, I've got a lot of in medicine and law. There are a lot of Jews, and I've got three good Jewish friends, which I can speak open with about the current situation, geopolitics.
Why don't you ask your Jewish friends if they think that Christianity is idolatry, or are they not?
Well, there you go.
Believing Jews? Are they believing Jews? Are they Orthodox Jews?
No, they're
or secular ones.
Secular, yeah. There's very much.
Okay, well they don't count. Because they don't really believe the basically atheists, right?
Do you understand? Yes, exactly.
No. I understand that if you're supposed to believe in God, you should be mindful of obeying the 10 commandments, and the first and second commandments forbid idolatry and blasphemy. And what do Christians do? They worship idols of Mary and Jesus. Who was Jesus?
Well, that's
He was
your
executed for
interpretation.
blasphemy.
But can't you? I mean, I can argue about Muhammad. Okay.
What do you want to say about him?
Well, he married a Shia, a 9-year-old fucking girl. That's called who. You know what
right.
I'm
so did anyone around him think?
Come on.
Okay, so we're back to Muhammad is a pedo argument again.
Yes.
Okay, do you know that in the state of Delaware, in the state of Delaware in 1871, they lowered, the Delawareans lowered the age of marriage from 10 to 7 in 1871. That's what they did.
Does that make it right or morally right?
So you must know, as an educated man, 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 you must know, as an educated man. Do I have to mute you? You must know, as an educated man, that there was a time when there was no such thing as the idea of an age of consent. It was basically when a woman when a female reaches menarche, which is another word for saying when she begins to menstruate, she is in theory capable of becoming a mother, and she is married off. That was how people in those days thought and practiced. So I don't know why you are pretending that this thing only happened amongst Muslims. Because really, what to us is child marriage is basically a feature of poverty.
So you're justifying.
I am explaining why at the time, in Mohammedan times, nobody thought there was anything wrong with him marrying Aisha. There was no suggestion,
right.
And you're deliberately ignoring your own history. If
what about
there was so you're saying at the time there was an age of consent in Mohammedan times, and Muhammad just ignored it. Is that what you're saying? So when do you think the concept of the age of consent came about? That was in modern times, wasn't it?
Can I take you to today in Sydney, Australia, first world country as is you in England? Do you realise that I deal with a lot of Syrians, Lebanese, Jordanians, Arabs, Muslims, good men, good clients. Most of them are Sunnis, not Shiite as Iranis. And you know how many are married to their cousins? And I'm talking
I think you already know that cousin marriage is neither forbidden in the Quran or the Bible, and you also must know that was how European royal families perpetuated themselves.
Absolutely.
Yes, so you know that.
Doesn't make it right.
So why are you getting on your high horse? If it's not forbidden, it's allowed, isn't it?
No, it's not. In today's morality.
Okay, so is cousin marriage allowed in Australia? Let's have a.
It's not. It's not. It's not in England either. Is it?
My position is that it is not forbidden.
Oh, really?
Well, because it's not forbidden in either the Bible or the Quran. And I said that was how European royal families perpetuated themselves.
No. See, you're deflecting to European.
I'm not.
Absolutely. They're inbred.
Right. You haven't even checked. You have not even checked.
Does that make it right? So you're equating European royal families, which is basically Germany, Russia, and England,
If it's not against the law, yeah, okay. So
it makes it right.
Yes, marrying your first cousin is legal in Australia. There you go.
No,
so if you don't like it,
not. No, it is not.
I don't think you even know the law, Jim.
It is not.
Because you're perpetually drunk. Do you know you can legally marry your first cousin in Australia?
You cannot marry your first cousin.
This is ABC News. Right.
So are you telling me, Claire, in 2025, that in Australia you can marry your first cousin?
Yes, sir.
No, you cannot.
Okay.
You can hide it, you can deflect it, but that's inbreeding.
I just don't know what to do with you, Jim.
So
you should know this. You're a lawyer.
What made you say that you can marry your first cousin?
I've just looked it up. According to ABC News, reported by Brett Williamson.
Yes.
The title is, Did you know you can legally marry your first cousin in Australia?
You go. It's illegal, but they marry. That's the thing.
No, if it's illegal, then they'd be sex offenders.
Yes. Yeah, they deny. That's... Oh my God. Oh my God.
According to the Marriage Act of 1961, cousins can marry.
First cousin.
Okay.
First cousin.
You check it.
No.
You check it out.
First cousins. First cousins in Australia cannot marry. You cannot marry your first cousin. You can marry, but you got to lie on your certificate. Yes, and that's what's happening. It's proliferating. It's like an epidemic in Australia. That's my point. And I'm sure it's also happening in England.
Yes, because there's no law. Basically, Australian laws come from Britain anyway, because you're just a colony.
No, used to be. Thank the Lord.
No, you still have your Governor General who can dismiss your...
You're absolutely right. Yes, you're right. Governor General is... Yes, I agree. Absolutely. There's still an umbilical cord connected to England, Mother England. Yes.
Well, yes, and as long as you retain this connection, we share the same monarch, and therefore the same laws.
No,
unless you have a referendum to become a republic.
No, separate laws. No, this is where you differ. Australian laws before used to be up to 1966, I think, or 65. The final court of appeal used to be the Privy Council.
You only have a high court. Your high court is the Supreme Court of Australia. And it used to be, well, if you want to appeal, you'll have to appeal to the motherland.
No, there's no longer that. That's broken.
Well, exactly, but that's you've left a lot of loose ends because the government doesn't really want Australians to wake up to the fact that they're still under the British monarch.
Well, Australia now at the moment, as I see it, is no longer Australia as I know it. But
no, of course, everywhere has changed.
Yeah.
And the only way to make the things that you want to stay the same is to have an official moral system that supports marriage, and you can't bring yourself to do that because you hate Islam so much.
No, it's not hating.
Okay, but you are not proposing an alternative system.
Claire, I don't need an alternative. If you're living
okay, you don't.
Christian
country, are you sure?
Excuse me. Australia was not founded by Islam or any other religion. Do you agree with that?
Okay, so I guess you're just going to, go from bad to worse and blame the Jews, right?
Excuse me. No. No. What should I blame the Jews?
You're just going to moan about the Muslims and blame the Jews,
No.
and
What I'm
that's how
saying
you're
is,
going to
can
roll
I say
until.
something? Right up to 1975, when all the borders were open. And then we get all the religions, all the nations, and there was never a vote, meaning there was never
Yes,
a
it's happened
plebiscite.
in America too, because the
Yeah, in
American Empire
1965.
expects the rest of the
Well,
West to follow its social and economic policies. Don't you
yes,
understand?
yeah, I agree. That
Okay, so the
doesn't make
global
it right.
hegemon that is America
Don't
tells us
criticize
what to
me.
do. Do
Why
you
can I?
accept this?
Why can I love and respect my heritage, my history, and have anybody, Tom, Dick, and Harry? I'm not going to mention Islam, Zionism, or any
You
other.
can't because your government doesn't support it.
The people. This is we are heading for a revolution. Look what's happening to Britain.
Yes,
You live
so
there.
I'm afraid the problem.
There's gonna be an unfortunate killing, massacres, civil war, whatever you want to call it. Not in my lifetime. I'm too fucking old. But 10, 20, 30 years ago from now.
So you're basically leaving
Shit.
your children, your grandchildren to fight this war, and you
Well,
expect
not
them to
fighting.
win
I mean,
when you
I'll
won't
be.
even face the facts.
It's the well, it's fake. It is a fact. I'm agreeing
It is a
with you.
fact that Christianity has failed,
Yes, it's not. It's failed.
but you don't care.
No, I do care. That's my.
Of course
point.
it has.
I'm one of the very rare which I care, and I agree with you. When you say has failed, there's no faith in Christianity.
Yeah,
Islam, and one of the things
why
which
do you
I
think
admire
there's
with
no
Islam,
faith in Christianity? Because it's hard to
because
believe, right?
no,
It's
because
nonsensical and absurd to believe that a Jew is also God.
Listen, Christianity has made everybody wants to get into a Christian country. Why are they not fighting to get into Ghana or let's say Indonesia?
Economic migrants follow the money.
Migrants? You mean illegal economic migrants?
It doesn't matter whether legal or not. They would follow the money.
Oh, it doesn't matter. So forget about the law. So
no. I mean, the law is there. It's not enforced by your government. So
it makes it right.
But I'm just explaining.
Yeah.
I'm just explaining to you that your government doesn't care about you or the future of your country, and it's the same throughout the West. Why are they like that? Why do you think they're like that?
And it's going to eventually. There's going to be a civil war, which I'm against.
Yeah, you keep talking about it, but you're not you don't expect to fight it. You just expect your children or your grandchildren. You're not going to be fighting anything, are you? You're just going to moan about the Muslims and blame the Jews and go to your grave doing that. Your religion is not Catholicism. It's anti-Semitism and Islamophobia.
You're denying me of having pride in my religion, in my heritage, in my culture.
Well, nobody's closing down your places of religious worship. You're just refusing to concede.
Just because Islam is more powerful and Judaism is more powerful doesn't mean I gotta submit. Can't you see the dichotomy in your argument?
Well, why shouldn't you concede if you've lost the argument? Why shouldn't you concede if you've lost the argument?
I am defeated, therefore I have to submit. And that's
why can't you concede if you've lost the argument? People concede in chess, you know.
Yeah. So what you're saying is give up and convert. That's what you're saying, is it?
No, I don't say convert. I'm saying under secular Quranism, no one's place of religious worship would be closed down. I said that, and you instantly forget because maybe you just want to think that what I propose is that everybody converts to Islam. I keep telling people I'm not Muslim, so but everybody wants to forget that because they want to hate Muslim and they want to hate me,
Should I?
and it's easier to hate me if they think I'm
No,
Muslim,
I don't
right?
hate. I shouldn't hate. I
Okay,
don't
so
hate
why
you.
do you keep forgetting that I am not Muslim? I keep saying
What
it
can
all the
I ask
time.
you?
I try to explain
Why?
your ideas,
Why?
and you instantly forget.
Clay,
Am I
why?
Muslim or not?
Well, you certainly look. Your
Okay,
clergy.
okay. So if
Why
I
are you
don't,
having? Why are you having that Islamic garb on your face as I look at you?
but I also call myself
Well,
secular
no,
Quran, a secular Quranist
answer my question. Why
because
you're not
obviously
Muslim?
I want to
Why?
make
What?
the
Excuse
most.
me. You're not Muslim. I'm quoting you verbatim, and yet, as I look at this screen here from Sydney, Australia, you got the Muslim garb around you.
Well, I think if you delve a bit deeper, and the hope is that people will delve a bit deeper, if they actually care to understand my
Answer
ideas.
my question. Why?
Yes,
Why?
yes,
Have
because
you
I want to associate myself with them. With the second most powerful religion in the world, and will soon become the most powerful religion in the world, because I just don't see
and
Christianity
which is
carrying
good?
on.
Which is what? Which is Islam.
Yes. It's
Good.
obvious, isn't it? In fact,
Yes,
I am saying
yes,
that the founding fathers were in fact
yes,
proto-Muslim.
You're absolutely right. Thank you for being honest. So I know the undertones. I appreciate your honesty.
Yes,
You're
I'm
talking.
saying I have read the writing on the wall, and therefore I'm
It's
going
your
to
prerogative.
put
Absolutely,
two and two together.
absolutely. I agree. I accept and appreciate your
Christianity is not
honesty.
my hill to die on.
Well, it's mine. That's the difference.
No, but the thing is, what you're saying is ridiculous. You're saying you have no free will. Just because you were born Christian means you have to stay Christian. What if your ancestors were
No,
wrong?
I'm not.
What if your ancestors were the headhunters of Borneo? You're going to still hang on to that?
Can I
What
say
if your
if you
parents were Aztec
well,
priests?
look, if you're talking about history, you came about 500 years ago after my ancestors.
No, I'm just saying, we have free will, so we can't help where
No,
we were
no,
born. We
no.
can't
You
help.
said
We can't help who our parents are, but we can certainly help our moral system. We can choose. In theory, we can still convert from one religion to another. And if we're going to change our religion, we should choose the best one. And I'm saying that there is an obvious answer about which is the most obvious religion to choose if you want if you want justice and the ability to prevent corrupt and incompetent people from becoming members of your ruling class.
what I'm trying to say to you, Clay, is not, if you respect yourself, the essence of a person is, or integrity of a person, as I look at it subjectively, it's yourself. You start from yourself, and then you work your way outwards. Who am I? What's my heritage? What's my religion? What's my politics? What's my education? What's my society? And all these other factors.
But you're supposed to
Blah, blah,
believe
blah.
in God. You're supposed to believe in God. There's only
What
one, isn't there?
yeah. Well, but this is the thing, and I do not, as a Catholic, shy away what I am. In any stream, I identify myself as such, for good or bad. And in Christianity, if you want to become a Catholic, you know what it is. Take your cross and be expected to be frowned upon, to be spat upon, to be laughed at, to be ridiculed.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
this
yeah.
is the cross.
This is just
And this is the
masochism,
sign of the
right?
cross.
This is just
No, well,
masochism
that's
and
your
idolatry.
no. This is your interpretation.
Yes, and you can't defend it.
Because
And that's
you
why
know what?
heretic burning was
Let me
practiced.
defend it. Let me defend it? You know why that is? Because our earthly life is not perfect.
What is not perfect?
It's not perfect.
What isn't perfect?
Our earthly life. Yours
Yes, but
and mine
we can
and
understand, even as
And it's
flawed
got-
creatures, we can still
and-
understand as flawed creatures what
and-
it means to be perfect.
And because we are not perfect, and our life always has shortfalls, you are always, and to be a Christian is to have transcendental connection with Jesus Christ.
No, it's idolatry. It's
Well,
idolatry, Jim.
That's your
Jews
interpretation.
and Muslims, however much they hate each other, agree that the Trinity is idolatry. And the reason why
No.
heretic burning was a
Jews-
Christian
Jews-
practice was
Jews-
because even your monarchs couldn't defend it. That's
No,
why they had to shut people up when they questioned the Trinity. And that's why Europeans hate Christianity so much. They have some memory of that happening. They have some epigenetic memory of their hatred for Christianity when they think of their ancestors being burnt at the stake for questioning the Trinity.
You gotta understand, can I tell you one thing?
You're just being sentimental. And you don't care about your children or your grandchildren or your descendants.
I do care. This is the
Give them
tragedy.
something decent to believe in
that
isn't idolatry.
No. So what you're asking of me, please correct me, is say, give up your essence.
No, it's not your essence. It's your ability to conceive of what is logical and true. It is true that there's only one Abrahamic God. It is true that Jews and Muslims reject the Trinity. It is true that the Trinity is rejected by Europeans and Americans.
All right. So what's the alternative?
The alternative is to replace your failed religion with one that actually works, that is easy to believe.
Which is?
The one that contains the laws of God.
Which is?
That are capable of being interpreted in a way that is humane and just. Which you refuse to read. To this day, you refuse to read the Quran.
And the name of that religion is Quran.
Well, yes, it is the holy book of Islam.
Exactly. So you're Islamic.
Well, I am closer to Islam than I'm closer to any other religion. I'm happy to admit that.
Now we admit. All right.
But I'm saying that if you think you're all going to be forced into converting to Islam, that is not the case.
That explains your garb. As I look at you.
Yes, obviously I wish to be associated with currently the second most powerful religion in the world and rising because of the chaos, of the moral chaos in the West.
Absolutely right. Bingo.
I have read the writing on the wall, and
Bingo, you're right.
Yeah. So why can't you do that?
Why?
For the sake of your progeny and your descendants.
Just listen. It is like going to a football match, and you're in London. I don't know, Arsenal, and who else is playing there? I don't know, Manchester United.
Or Millwall.
I love Millwall. That's my favourite London
Well,
team.
it's my football team if I'm going to be.
Yeah, Millwall is they're the radicals. They're the Europeans. Yeah, I know, but everybody hates Millwall. Second division, third division. All right.
No one
So
likes us. We don't care.
yeah, exactly. That's what they chant. Exactly. Yeah. So you go to the football match, and you got your scarf and you barrack, and your team is winning, and you're inundated like I don't know at the Cop, say Liverpool, and all of a sudden you got your team is dissipated, 5-0 or whatever, and you say, right, I'll become a Liverpool supporter. Is that the justification? What you're arguing? I should change sides because my side is losing, and we are losing, by the way. Christianity, absolutely losing. Europe is gone. England is gone. I asked my son, hello, hey, how's Pommyland going? My dad, don't come to London. It's not, if you're looking for an Englishman in London, you're going to have a hard time to find one. And it's not being sexist, racist. It's being factual. I've got other friends. Am I correct or misinterpreting what they say, what I hear? I'm not being picking on any, blacks, whites, browns, Swahilis, Africans. No. Let's not go down that road. And that's a fact. I'm aware of that.
Right. So, either you have free will or you don't. Either you're capable of using your reason to choose the best religion for your people, or you're just going to stick to the failed religion of your ancestors. Or what if they were Aztecs? What if they were, headhunters of Borneo? I mean,
see what you're saying. If I ask you, let's reverse the argument. If I say Christianity is winning or Catholicism is winning, and I'm trying to convert you, we are the
you could bribe me. I suppose you might try that.
Yeah, but is that a moral or a justifiable thing?
No, but I all I'm doing, I have no means to bribe you. I'm just saying, look at the evidence, right? If there's only one God, then all the Abrahamic religions are just competing.
You're saying, you're right, your God is right, my wrong.
No, but I'm saying that Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are all Abrahamic religions. Do you not accept that?
Yes, I fully agree, accept that. Yes,
so your objection to Islam is that it's not your ancestral religion, but it could be that your ancestors are wrong. If your ancestors were headhunters of Borneo, they could conceivably be morally wrong. If your ancestors were Aztec priests, they could conceivably be wrong.
Absolutely.
And there might be, signs of, things not going quite well for people who support Christianity, such as absolute monarchs who were regicides. Charles I, Louis XVI, Nicholas II, and his entire family. Things didn't go well for them. Maybe there's something wrong with the idea of absolute monarchy. Maybe as people with free will or a desire to have free will, we should reject being forced to believe in stuff by our absolute monarchs.
Can I I'm not in England, but can you see the argument, by virtue of you being in Europe, which is alien to you and Islam, can you see the native white Christian British Welsh, English, Scottish, Irish rebelling against the aliens? Not in terms
Okay. I understand what your question.
Let me finish. You are on my ancestral land. This is the language I'm using, which you just used. And do not, please not argue, put up a sort of not an argument, what's the word I'm looking for? Proposition, I suppose, is you are a guest in our country.
I'm thinking again of Enoch Powell. He had a speech.
Yeah,
Said, "How dare I say these things?" And you're saying to me, Jim, "How dare
Why?
you? How dare you
No, not there.
propose this horrible idea?" Blah blah blah.
I'm not.
I'd like to answer your question.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So I'm saying this is just a recommendation. Obviously, you are all at liberty to ignore my suggestion. But even if I did go back to where I came from, you would still be left with your problem. So what you're saying is, what if everybody rises up?
That's not your problem. I'm left in my problem. If you go back,
you still have your problem, even if I left the West.
What's a concern of yours?
Well, because I'm saying what the West has done has caused a moral disease to go around the world. So now it's affecting the Chinese, the Japanese, the Koreans.
What moral disease? What are you talking about?
Of feminism.
What?
Of feminism. Feminism is the unofficial religion of the West.
Yes.
And because it can't win any arguments, it gets violent. Going back to the killing of Charlie Kirk, if it was done by a leftist liberal, then it was because they can't win the argument. So the only answer is to shoot him in the neck.
Yeah.
And this was also the preferred tactic of Christians who could not defend the Trinity. So it would just burn anyone in Christian kingdoms who question the Trinity.
What? Oh my God! Oh God.
Are you saying that this practice never happened?
All the Christians today, including Protestants and Orthodox, believe in Blessed Trinity. What are you on about?
Yes, but you do know that heretics were burnt at the stake, don't you?
No, because of Trinity. Yes.
Yes, so if you question the Trinity, you'd be considered a heretic and you'd be burnt at the stake.
Well, there were various reasons questioning the interpretation of the Bible. That's Protestant.
Yeah, it wasn't allowed.
Yes, because of the mainstream. We are not allowed to question certain topics on YouTube today. It's not allowed. If I talk about openly, you get banned. It's your channel, and I want to go down that avenue. You know that I know that you know that all of the people know what's forbidden, or in German, verboten.
So we know it's unacceptable to express hate speech is forbidden. It's socially unacceptable to be anti-Semitic.
Every society has its taboos.
Indeed. So it depends what taboos they are, depend on what religion you currently hold. So I'm saying
in Islam, you cannot proselytize.
No, there's actually no rule against that. That was what I kept trying to impress upon you. You're going to say, oh, but the Gulf kingdoms do this and do that. And I'm saying they're not following their religion properly. And because the Quran actually supports the First Amendment. Not that you know this, judging by the behavior of many Muslims all around the world. But then most of them haven't read the Quran either.
Exactly. You cannot.
So the problem of not reading the Quran is to read the Quran. The problem of not reading your roadmap and getting lost is to refer to it from time to time.
Can I say something? In reading, I think I mentioned on a couple of prior occasions, is if you read any text, novel, Bible, Quran, Talmud, whatever book, if we are interpreting the passages, the words, the paragraphs.
Of course we are.
and we are conjuring in our minds images as to the meanings of those words, paragraphs. And that is the problem.
No, the problem is that they don't do it properly. And you're saying...
What's properly? That's my point.
Yes, so I'm saying...
my point.
I can make arguments about... I can explain why neither Judaism nor Islam support absolute monarchy. I can explain that easily, but maybe there are people who don't care. Maybe you don't care.
Clay, can I...
Do you want to live under an absolute monarchy, Jim?
Just listen. No. Look. The problem, the beauty of Catholicism in particular, and the beauty of the Pope, is as follows. When you read the Bible, millions, billions of Catholics read the Bible, but the interpretation sievers from the people to the priests, to the deacons, to the archbishops, to the bishops, to the cardinals, to the Pope, and then there is interpretation.
They don't even follow the New Testament. They don't even. They make up the rules as they go along.
No, you don't.
There's nothing in the New Testament that you can make law from.
That's my point. Because to have it in unison, to have people for, say, Quran, anything. See, you haven't got a Pope. You got your.
No, it doesn't matter that Islam doesn't have a Pope, because the Supreme Court of the country adopting it would be the final court of appeal. Don't you see?
Can't you see that if I read the Quran, or any book, forget about Quran, I've got my interpretation.
Yeah, okay, you've got your own interpretation, but you're a lawyer. You do understand the concept of a Supreme Court, don't you?
But there's no Supreme Court in Islam.
Any country adopting secular Quranism would have a Supreme Court.
Well, that's your interpretation.
No. It's a fact. It's a fact that all countries, whether Muslim or not, have a final court of appeal. Do you deny this?
Which country is that? Secular Quranism.
Any country, it doesn't have to be Islamic, there will be in practice a final court of appeal. There's the US Supreme Court, the UK Supreme Court. In Australia, you call it the High Court.
You're talking about Catholicism 2,000 years.
Yes, so we know the Pope is. Yes, we've heard of the Edict of Papal Infallibility, passed in 1870. Yes, exactly. But in practice, nobody listens to the Pope because he hasn't got an army, has he?
No,
only the Swiss Guard.
No. Excuse me, you're conflating. When he speaks infallibility, it's in cathedra. The last time the Pope spoke was 150 years ago.
Okay, so I guess he doesn't want to, say anything because he doesn't want people to defy him.
No.
And the reason why he is defied is because he hasn't got an army.
You know what it's on theology, interpretation.
Yes, it's on matters of church doctrine. He gets a final word.
No,
yeah, same thing, right?
No, he doesn't get the final. This is no.
What? So what's the Edict of Papal Infallibility about then?
Well, you got all right. There's steps. I'm talking about when you read the Bible. People, you got millions, billions.
Yeah, they'll have their own interpretation, but there will be a supreme interpretation, won't there? You understand you're talking about sola scriptura, aren't you?
No, I'm not. No.
What's your point?
You're breaking.
What is your point, Jim?
What's sola scriptura?
Well, it's obviously something that the Catholics rail against.
Well, that's what the Muslims said. You got sola scriptura because you said all you need is Allah, and you need the not the Bible, and you go ahead and you preach. You read from the Bible, and this is what.
No, somebody has to interpret it, right?
Yes, my point. The only religion of Abrahamic, as you call Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, is the Catholic Church. 2,000 years of magisterium, where interpretation of the Bible, of what it means, every paragraph.
Okay, what does it mean? What does it mean?
And that's what it because every person has its own vocabulary and imagination and interpretation. That's why you have.
Yet there's nothing in the New Testament that could be used as a source of law. Is there? Nothing in it.
No, you don't understand.
Right, so it's all about we believe this and we believe that, and then shut up.
Listen, when you read a paragraph, you interpret that.
Yes, I know, but the New Testament is just full of dumb stories anyway. Right, there's no law from God in the New Testament. Look, Jim, we already know, both of us know that the New Testament is not written by God. It's just some guys called Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Paul, and all the rest of it. Right? So nothing in the New Testament is authored by God. If you want something by God, it's the Torah or the Quran. That's it.
All right. Could I? Fine. I'm not going to argue. Go down that way. Look, I think I've mentioned that to you. Now I'm using my criminal law thing, and there's a case I think you should remember. I mentioned it numerous occasions, and there was a case in London, as you know, and I'm not going to go into it now.
Let him have it.
Yeah, and you can Google it. And
yes, I have.
Let them have it. Now, as you know, in that case, I think you conjured up your memory. Let them have it. And a British bobby was shot in 1950, I think, after the war. And there were two
Bentley.
People.
It's a Bentley case.
Yeah, exactly. And so there you are. This is an interpretation. Both of them hung, I think, in the shortest time, about 6 months after the event. But anyway, so be it. And the argument being is let him have it. The argument, there was one gun to the two culprits. And the other guy argued, let him have it. I meant let throw the gun to the coppers and the bobbies. But the other guys shot the bobby and killed him. So there's an argument, let him have it. Now, you can take who's right. The other guy said, let him have it.
Yes, okay, so the court was not disposed to accept the argument of Bentley.
Let's transplant that argument to the Bible or Quran or any other.
Yeah, so the Supreme Court is the final interpreter.
Well, we have that. It's called the Church, the Magisterium of the Catholic Church.
It's not the judiciary.
Years.
It's not the judiciary, is it? It's a corrupt, parasitic priesthood.
Please, all right. Please explain. All right. Yeah, I said my point. And it's corrupt and it's parasitic and all these buzzwords. I mean, I can go back and say, please show us your evidence.
Look, in Islam, the group of people...
I didn't ask you that. You made a statement.
Okay, did you ask me a question?
Yes, you made a parasitic, corrupt...
Yes, so I was beginning to explain why I said so. And you interrupted me. So I'm saying, in Islam, the group of people closest to being a priesthood would be the judiciary, because the judiciary interprets these laws. But then you don't need a priesthood. You don't need a parasitic priesthood to put on a good show for the sheeple.
it's not what you just said. That priest or that imam is not the head of the religion. He does not interpret hadiths or Quran. He can interpret that for his community, his village, his town.
They're called the qadi. The judges in Islam are called qadis. So they would be the interpreters of the law. The imam is just the vicar kind of person, right?
So where is who is in charge of interpreting the Quran?
It would be the Supreme Court and the justices of the Supreme Court and the members of the Supreme Court. What is so hard to understand? You're a lawyer.
Where are they? Where are they at the moment?
No, of course, they're nowhere because it hasn't been adopted. My proposed legal system has not been adopted. So I'm saying once it's adopted, the interpreters of its principles would be the judiciary and the legal profession, and anybody who wishes to express an opinion on that prepared to litigate it.
Have you made your case, your proposition to various Islamic imams, institutions in London?
Yeah, they're too afraid. They're too afraid to be seen to be supporting it because they are cowards and hypocrites, right? And then they're going to say, "Oh, but you're not even Muslim, and you don't read Arabic and stuff like that." And also they know they're going to get into trouble for supporting it. So,
in other words, they're towing the line. I understand.
Yeah.
And many priests I encounter. You're not the only one. When I confront many Catholic priests, not all of them, but many, it's the same thing. I sort of challenge them. For example, a lot of priests I challenge at the moment, which I take a very moral issue as a personal thing, is the genocide happening in Gaza as we speak. It is horrendous. There's no media when I see that. There's innocent men, women, and children being killed. I'm flabbergasted. That's all I can say. And then I say, where's my... I've written to various people, and my priests and so forth, and the silence. And I said, look, if you comment, I wouldn't mind. Go for it or against it. But the silence kills me. You've got no fucking balls. And I'm talking about my church, right? A lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them speak out. And I congratulate them. But a lot of them do not. And that's my objection. It's travesty of justice. There's genocide happening in 2025 as I see it. So maybe I'm wrong. Starvation of people, innocent children being killed slowly, many of them, and the whole world is turning their head the other way. Nothing to see here. Do you understand?
Well, yes. So,
I don't know. That's my... I don't know.
Yes, I know, we feel helpless that we can't do anything, even though we don't agree, and what could we do anyway? So we look the other way and say we don't care. Because, basically, this is the response to Americans who, in response to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Frightened people will say, oh, it wouldn't have happened to me anyway, because I wouldn't be so stupid as to say, whatever he said, or I've always hated him, he had it coming. But the point is really that I forgot what I was going to say. Why are we talking about?
Maybe I'm too emotional.
Okay, yes, the Gazan. So people feel helpless. So when they feel helpless, they say, well, I don't care, right? I don't care. And anyway, what do you expect me to do about it? But I'm saying Muslims could actually do something about it. But since what they do is make a point of ignoring everything I say or instantly forgetting whatever I say, or deliberately misunderstanding it, I guess that they won't get anywhere. Because I think the problem lies with Muslims themselves. They actually have all the arguments because, we were talking about Zionism. So I'm saying that the three kinds of Zionism, Jim, there's the Jewish kind of Zionism that says Jews deserve a homeland because they're the universally persecuted. And that there's also Christian Zionism, which says Christians will protect Jews in their homeland, which is what we have now. And then there is Muslim Zionism, if they can bear to use that word, because I know most Muslims equate Zionism with unmitigated evil. So what you can do, if Muslims were smart, would be to say Allah is Zionist because of chapter 17, verse 104, that says Muslims are that Jews are to go to the promised land when the end times come. So if they're not already there, they should go there. And therefore, there is a case for Allah being Zionist. And that being so, they could just say, Jews are welcome to live in the Holy Land, provided they live under Sharia. They could say that. It's so easy to say. And I think the Hamas Charter in Article 31 kind of says that anyway, but not in a way that is easy to understand. So if the Muslims make that argument, they would just then put the ball in the court of Jews to say, over our dead body, Jews are liberal Democrats, or bust. They could say that. Right.
Look, can I talking about Zionism, it's very important not to conflate Judaism, Jews, with Zionism. Zionism is a political ideology established in the 18th centuries by the European Jews, Polish, Ukrainian, Russian Jews, and Rothschild. Anyway, I could give you literature on that. And it's a political ideology. Most of them were not, atheists.
I think I know that.
Yeah.
I mean, the point is,
So,
do Muslims really expect Jews to say, oh, we Jews don't deserve a homeland, even though the most powerful superpower in the world is prepared to give us its unwavering support? We would be stupid to say no to Zionism. I mean, what do these dumb Muslims expect these Jews to say? That they don't deserve a homeland? Would they go to any Chinese person or Korean person and say, oh, we don't deserve a homeland, or Yazidis or any people without a homeland, oh, we don't need to deserve. I mean, it's just stupid and crazy.
And absolutely what you just said is absolutely correct. And what I would like to add is the following. I think that the Zionists today, the ultimate aim, as I see it, maybe I'm wrong, is to create greater Israel. That's my prediction.
Israel is just an American colony. If people accepted that, then everything would become clear. Israel is a proxy for America. The Israelis wouldn't dare do any of the things that they did, if it were not for America saying, "Yeah, go and do it, and we'll support you. Whatever you do, we'll support you." And what the American empire is cleverly doing is to again let these dumb Jews take the blame, right? They've been tricked into going to live in Israel to fight the Arabs and get themselves hated, and they're stupidly doing it and fighting for the American empire. And actually, the secular state of Israel is offensive to God if he exists with their gay parades.
Well, there's a question whether I don't know whether you heard about what I'm about to say. The question is Israel the first state of United States, or is America the first state of Israel?
Yes, I know that they make this joke, but the point is, it's a Punch and Judy show, right? The puppeteer is pretending that America and Israel are different entities, but they're controlled by the puppeteer, and really it doesn't matter, because the reason why Jews appear to have so much power is because Gentiles give it to them. It was all given to them by Gentiles. Obsessing about Jews and saying they have all the power, and actually the easiest way for Gentiles to displace secular Jews is just to say, we're not going to listen to you anymore, secular Jews, because you're actually heretics and you shouldn't even exist, because the Jews who break the Sabbath are supposed to be executed, and we're only going to talk to the religious Jews. Right? And hello, religious Jews. Do you think Christianity or Islam is more Noahide? And once I give an honest answer to that, then everything will be settled.
Well, the problem America has is, it's as you probably know, is APAC, and a lot of so-called.
Yeah, it's mostly full of Christian Zionists who
Exactly.
think that by getting the Jews to go and live in Israel and converting them to Christianity, they're going to hurry the coming of the Messiah. That's their agenda.
Exactly. Bingo. You're on my page. That's the ultimate thing. This is the who runs America foreign policy. And it's not being disparaging against Jews. I mean, the honest Jews, Israelis, or living there. It is money, and the money talks, bullshit walks, as always.
Look, Zionism is an Anglo-American imperial project.
Yes.
I've had an eye on Israel way before the Americans even thought of it. They just took over after World War II. Right.
That's how I see it. That's my take on it. It's not being sexist, racist, xenophobe, or anything like that. But the current situation, it's very fiery and it's very dangerous, because Israel is agitating, and it's always looking at its big brother, which is America, to fight its wars.
Okay, I mean, I think you're back to Jews controlling Americans. It's like, I know
there's a lot of influence. There's not controlling. I wouldn't say controlling, but there's 200 countries in the world, and there's no other country or other people have so much influence. For example, in Minnesota, as I understand, there's a lot of Sudanese. Now, you tell me how many Sudanese senators or congressmen are there in Washington, D.C.? Not many. That's my point. My point is, it's not controlling you as a puppet. But there's influence. And what I'm trying to say, there's a lot of influence, which is not conducive to so-called American democracy.
Jim, I want to introduce you to Carol, a white Muslim woman who's actually American and white and Muslim. And I think you'll have a very profitable discussion. I'm sure you're tired of me now.
All right. Hello.
Hi. What's up? I don't know what's going on. I just got here. So what's the story?
Well, Jim is pretending that secular Quranism would close down all non-Muslim places of worship, and I've just managed to disabuse him of that. But he may forget the next time we speak, because
no, Claire, please, you got my email, please. I want to read it. I haven't read.
I've sent you 2 emails. One is a link to my book, Secular Quranism, available on Amazon. Right. And the other one is a reading by Carol, whom you've just met, of the book itself. So,
all right, great. Thank you.
And thank you, Carol, again for doing the reading on
Oh,
your
that's okay.
YouTube
No
channel.
problem. No problem.
So, yeah, so we were talking about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and I've linked it to the Trinity because I'm saying the feminists who hate conservatives have no rational arguments, and that's why violence is the only resort for people who have in fact lost the argument. And of course, the Trinity was always morally and intellectually indefensible, and that explains the Christian practice of heretic burning, while Islam supports the First Amendment, according to the Quran, which most Muslims have not themselves read.
And so what was his, I just caught the end of something about he thought Muslims wouldn't let other religions exist?
Yes, because he was citing the Gulf kingdoms. Oh dear. Yes, Carol's connection is not very stable. But Jim, Carol actually comes from an Irish Catholic background.
Right.
Yeah, so her mother was Irish.
I didn't catch it. I'm sorry. My connection is really bad for some reason. What so he thinks they won't let other religions exist, and what's his religion?
Catholicism.
Catholicism. Uh-huh. And why does he think this?
I think a lot of Islamophobes feel they have to think the worst of Muslims to keep their hatred and fear up, so they can continue rejecting it. I guess that's why my
it's
theory.
not. Look, we should. I know any argument. I think emotions or feelings should be kept out of it. In other words, we should discuss facts, the current.
Carol, I know you're doing stuff in the background because I keep hearing scratchy noises. So I hope you will mute.
I'm trying to fix this. I don't know what the problem is.
Oh, now you. Oh, I can hear you. Hello. Where are you? In America or Ireland?
No, I'm in the U.S.
Where? You're in Israel?
She's in America.
No, didn't she say Israel?
No. No.
All right. My gist of argument, I suppose, is that we argued many topics and canvassed a lot of issues and so forth. But my argument, and if you can agree, is that Europe, when I say Europe, Western Europe, it is it's a word which came after the French Revolution.
I can't hear him.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can't hardly hear you.
All right. I'll put my bloody volume up. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah.
All right. My argument, and I agree, is that the Western civilization before the French Revolution used to be called the Christendom. It used to be called Western. Western means Christian, basically, is dying exponentially. And that's a fact as I see it. And there's no denial of it. When I say Western, I'm talking about Europe, Canada, America, Australia, New Zealand. Basically, white means world. The only opposition to that, as I see it, is Eastern Europe. That's where the hope lies, if you want to talk about geopolitics, and that is those the countries of Eastern Europe, Russia, Ukraine, Hungary, who are not part of European Union, who are resisting the downfall of Christendom. And this is the irony, a Catholic supporting Putin and Russia trying to be nationalist and proud of one nation and culture, heritage, and Christianity, which is non-existent in Western Europe. And as I say, in degenerate, feminist, pedophile, blah, 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 LGBTQ societies of our West. Every town which has KFC, McDonald's, you know where they are from. Whether you're in Sydney, Melbourne, London, Massachusetts, LA, Washington, whatever. You're a degenerate. That's my gist, and that's a fact. And I'm lamenting. I'm that's my heritage, and I can't help myself. As a traditional Catholic, a lawyer, father of 4 children, one living in London, the oldest boy, 3 boys, engaged to an Irish girl from Armagh. All right. Anyway, she's a doctor and then engaged, etc. And that's my oldest son. He's 34 now. 35, I think, from memory. My eldest daughter is more than that. She's older than that. She's 37. I'm a grandfather. But anyway, and I, as a lawyer, and I'm a bit of a how would I put it, historian, modernist. Anyway, I'm now sounding like I'm fucking bragging. I'm not. Forgive me. Please forgive me. But I know my modern history reasonably well. Not that good. But and it's sad from my perspective. I'm not saying I'm being aggressive or all that, but I'm lamenting. Yes, I am. I'm being sentimental. Call me whatever you want, a pussy. But that's the fact. Historical happening as I interpret the current situation. Geopolitical, economic. We're up the creek without a paddle. The Western, so-called Western societies, which is degenerate. And I compare it, as I always said on many occasions, to the fall of the Roman Empire. There's a good comparison there, but I won't go there. Hello? Can you hear me? Am I talking to myself? Hello?
Hi, Carol. You still there? I left. I left the computer. I stepped aside, and I see that Jim's gone. Carol is not speaking. I guess it's time to end the stream. It's been going for 2.5 hours. I'm afraid I didn't listen to the last few minutes because I was in the kitchen. I hope Carol will come to life and speak to me. But I think on the whole, it has been a constructive discussion. Carol has gone again. And hopefully Jim will remember that I'm not Muslim. Secular Quranism is a legal system. You don't have to be Muslim to apply and interpret. It is, as a legal system, like EU law. Obviously, it helps if you like the idea of the EU, but you can still understand its workings, even though you don't agree with the EU as an entity. So, as a lawyer, you should be able to understand a law and how it applies to, what situations, and you don't have to like it. You just need to be able to understand how it works and how it could work for your client, and that is all that is required under secular Quranism, which does not require anyone to change their religion, which uncompromisingly supports the First Amendment, such as freedom of belief and freedom of expression. My difficulty is people deliberately misunderstand me, distort me, and want to classify me as a Muslim in order to hate and fear what I propose so they can reject it. So, as I was complaining to Jim earlier, he has never read the Quran. He claims to have it, and then, of course, his excuse that he has never had the time to read it because of his busy life as a lawyer. But how can you understand something if you don't read it, if it's a legal system? But I know most people will just never, ever be able to get over their hatred and read a book that they hate. And so we can never get past this feeling of hatred that people who instantly reject my proposal will use against me. But I was hoping that there would be, educated people in the West who have read the Quran, who are actually lawyers, who could just try and understand what I'm saying without dismissing it out of hand, instead of this sort of sentimental, oh, I've been Catholic, my parents have been Catholic, it's an ancestral tradition, blah, 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 and I'll die on that hill of Catholicism, which is obviously neither rational nor constructive. Hi, Carol.
Hi. You can hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear him, and I don't know, this keeps throwing me off. We'll see what happens again here.
Yeah, if it happens again, I'll just
Yeah.
end the stream, and hopefully, because it's annoying for people to keep having these conversations interrupted. So,
Yeah.
what's new, Carol?
Nothing really. I was just hearing what was his thing, that he's sad Christianity's fluffing down, or what? What is this?
Well,
What was his?
Jim, as you know, is Catholic
Uh-huh.
and a lawyer, and I guess I'm cross with him because I thought he had read the Quran because he boasted of having it. So I foolishly, I assumed he'd read it, and then he told me, not on the stream, that he'd never read it. So of course he's not going to get any of what I'm trying to say, and he will rely on his, Catholic Islamophobia. But he was also the one who told me that Catholics can be atheist and Marxist. So he's basically saying Catholicism is just a cultural affiliation and not a conviction.
Oh, I see. So he's trying to say if you have a breakdown of Christianity, Western civilization by definition will not exist. That's his thinking. Yeah.
Actually, I don't know what he's saying. Most of the time he's drunk anyway. So
yeah, it sounds like it
does
sounds
is,
what it sounds like
okay,
the argument.
I can't even. Can you say it again? Whatever you just said.
I said it sounds like his view is if Christianity is gone, totally gone, that Western civilization doesn't exist because Western civilization, it's from what I caught him saying, doesn't just depend on Christianity. It was founded and started with Christianity, and it's actually tied in so much with the civilization that it doesn't exist without it. Like the death of Christianity would be the death of the Western nation idea.
Christianity died in 1918. I mean, if you think of Christendom, I mean, actually a lot of words need to be defined. Like Christendom, what does it even mean? And I would say it obviously means a Europe of Christian kingdoms governed by absolute monarchs. That's what it means. It doesn't mean, a bunch of Christians in America, a bunch of Christians in Australia, and, wherever. It means, a political entity that supports absolute monarchy. But it ended in 1918. So it's basically, it's failed these absolute monarchs, right? So if you're an absolute monarch and you were persuaded by the Catholic Church that, it's going to defend your divine right to rule, and it never did, you'd be entitled to your money back, except that you're now extinct, so you can't even get your money back.
Well, I was looking at some argument yesterday. I didn't watch the whole thing. I think you sent it to me, where the guy was basically trying to say that the Catholic Church itself created the idea of separation of church and state because it separated the realm of existence into spiritual and secular. Like you can have your spiritual life and then you have the secular considerations. But to me, it's a little bit of paranoia. If he's afraid Muslims are going to say Christians can't exist, why does he think a bunch of Muslims are in Europe are going to say that? Why does he even think that? I mean, the whole thing to me it centers on if you're scared of an ideology in which, Islam now for some reason is being presented as a political ideology, and it is pretty much with, secular Quranism. If it's a political ideology and you don't like it, just take over the ideology itself and then redefine it how you like. That's what people usually do. And they do the same thing with religions. That's why we have so many different kinds of Christians and, different types of Muslims, and this sort of thing is from people just taking over the ideology and molding it a little bit. That's what people do. That's what humans do. So if Europeans, if Americans, which I don't think Americans are this paranoid about it, but if they're really scared that Islam is going to take over, just from this standpoint, it would make sense to me that the Europeans themselves should attempt to take Islam over itself in the West. That's what I'm saying. Like that to me would be a more fruitful enterprise. If someone really believes Islam's going to take over, then take over Islam itself in the West and pop the balloon. Right?
Yeah,
but the real problem is, but the real, they tried it in Afghanistan. It's not the first time. I mean, the West tried to do that in Afghanistan. The U.S. was printing books on Islam about how they wanted Islam presented in Afghanistan, which I thought was just, oh, this is ridiculous. But it doesn't, it does not make, it's not ridiculous to do so in a country that you live in.
Yeah, I think they just can't get over their hatred and fear and refusal to read the Quran with their endless excuses, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why, it's not happening. I mean, obviously, it is to control the interpretation. And that's what I'm proposing. But they don't understand or pretend not to understand.
Yeah, that's basically what you're proposing. And Muslims do this, have done this, they do it in the past, and they're doing it now in other areas of Islam. I'm not saying I agree with all this stuff everybody's doing, but there, you can certainly take an idea, and you even tried to do that when you were presenting secular Quranism with Chinese characteristics, with Cuban characteristics, with American characteristics, blah blah. You're trying to make that point. I don't know why no one gets it. I don't know why.
They don't want to, or they're afraid of being seen to be supportive of me and being kicked out of their pathetic online communities.
I don't think people understand that this is what has been going on with all religions and all political thought since the beginning of time with humans. They get an idea and they change it. Americans will take an idea. Everyone talks about cultural appropriation now, blah, blah. We just don't care. Americans are going to take, used to be, from the era I was from, they used to just take what they like, and then that's ours now. That's what they did. So, you had Christianity. Christianity came to America. It was a bunch of guys. They were afraid they were afraid England was going to get in control again because of all these immigrants from England coming in so fast in the Anglican Church. So they made a very obvious separation of church and state in the Constitution so that the King of England couldn't get in through the back door of the Anglican Church in control in the U.S. But what is wrong? I mean, it had every kind of Christianity that came here, and all kinds of Christian thought developed in the United States because no one was bothering over it. There's no reason why we can't do the same thing with Islam here. There's no reason why. They certainly can, and they certainly can affect government. And if I was Jim, I'd be more worried about a Zionist takeover than I would be about some Muslims, because Muslims, as part of Islamic law, believe they have to allow Christians to keep their churches and this sort of thing. Jews do not believe they need to keep anything from anyone else. The Zionist ideology. So, I mean, if you want to preserve Christianity in a situation where it's decaying out, you would want a government that thinks it must protect it. The United States government does not believe it must protect any religion right now. It does not believe that. It doesn't have that as its stance. It just says that you can be whatever religion you want. But if you want to preserve the Christian heritage in the West, then yeah, the church must be protected somehow. And if the church is falling apart to the point it can't protect itself, then it needs a little assistance, right? I think everyone's thinking is unlimited because they're looking just at the time period they're in and thinking like that. But the truth is, in the West, in particular the United States, we'll take any damn idea, any piece of clothing, anything, and say it's ours. That's ours. We're taking that part of it, not all of it. I mean, you could go study yoga, or you can do some of these things and not get all involved in the religious part of it here. We just take we could take ideas that we like and do that. And what's wrong with having a government that says we're going to have marriage, that's going to be promoted. We're going to create a society where people work. Yeah, I don't see what the big deal is. But if they're worried about a bunch of immigrants coming in, then close the borders. The immigrants are coming in because the Europeans and the Americans didn't close the borders. Okay, they're not doing something weird. Their governments are. Their governments didn't bother to protect their own people. So I don't think we need to blame the immigrants because they're coming. We need to blame the government. Like, why in the hell haven't you closed the borders yet? You see what I'm saying? It's this deflecting of who's really causing the problem is a big part of the problem we're facing. But a conservative religion in a society where people are promoting, deficit, being despots to the point that they're not even having kids, and you're going to spend 40 years of your life trying to find yourself, or you're gonna, you're on your own special path of actualization, and you're going to find yourself when you're 45 and you're a woman, equals no kids, no children, no future generation. Huh?
It's absolutely right. I'm listening to what you're saying.
Yes, that's the problem. So
you're going over. You've canvassed a lot of issues or points, and I'm not going to address every one of them, but I suppose I can concentrate on a couple of them, or two or three of them.
Okay.
The first one you're talking about is identity. I do not know you as you do not know me from a bar of soap.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm in Sydney, Australia. You're somewhere in the US of A, and which is about one of the most segregated in terms of race societies, in terms of politics, and in terms of culture. Would you agree with what I just said?
You said the United States is?
Yes.
No, you can be just about anything. I see more racism and stuff in Europe than I do in the United States.
No, I'm not saying racism. Don't you see? Listen to what I said. In my humble opinion, US of A, as we speak, 2025, is the most segregated, divisive in terms of politics, society in the world.
I don't know. Maybe, but I'm seeing this trend across the world right now.
No, I'm asking you about US of A. What's your opinion about you living US of A?
It depends on where you're at, but it is basically going to turn into a war between the working class, those that have it.
No, I know that. Don't go down that path.
Yeah, identity politics is big here right now. Yeah, it wasn't like that when I was younger.
Well, good. I accept that. My question to you, and don't deflect, answer my question. I could be wrong. Please let me know and explain evidence. My question to you, as I see down under Sydney, Australia, looking and observing US of A, good old America, as I see 330 million, and let's not count the illegals, is most divisive, segregated countries in the first world today. Yes or no? I mean,
I don't know if it's the most divisive in the whole world or not.
Oh, divisive, sorry. Well,
yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what I mean by divisive. It's haves and have-nots. If you're an American, if you're on the East Coast or West Coast, if you live in LA, in Hollywood Hills, Bel Air, and what's the other thing? Palm Springs or whatever, and as opposed to LA Compton, which is the ghetto, as I understand, the hood There's big discrepancy. Would you agree what I'm just saying?
I think we have a wide range of really rich and real poor, but it's not
Yeah,
as
and
rigid as it is. It's not as
do you have gated communities?
yeah. Some places are
Oh, really? And why is that?
because they're trying to keep people coming in and robbing their houses mostly, or coming in
Uh,
and causing
and who
problems.
and who are those people who are potential robbers? How would you identify them? Hispanics, blacks, whites,
Well, it's
mulattoes,
everything. It's
Mexicans?
everything.
Oh, really?
Usually it's everything. Everybody. It's whoever's
And
doing it.
is that so? So it's well, why have walls and be in gated community? Why protect yourself from a, a democracy? We're all equal. We all live in one country. We believe in the flag and the
I don't know
pledge
what
of
I
allegiance.
don't understand the question you're asking.
Well, can I ask you, where do you live?
I live in California.
All right. Do you live in a white community, predominantly white, or black, or Hispanic? Can you tell me that?
It's kind of mixed.
Kind of. What is it? What's the percentage approximately?
Well, I don't know the percentage, but I would. There's quite a few Mexicans living here.
Uh,
There's black people living here. There's
yeah, all right. Which is the dominant group? Majority. What race? What race?
maybe white and Mexican.
What? No, well, they can't have two. It's either or. Which one is
Well,
it?
that's how the neighborhood is. I mean, I can't say
Uh,
I don't go to the school district and I haven't looked in the
no,
classroom.
that's all right. No. I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
yeah,
The area you chose to live. You own a house or you rent in a certain neighborhood, correct?
right.
All right. Is it ghetto?
No, I wouldn't say this is ghetto, no.
All
I
right.
used to
You know,
live down there, and that's
that's
where
all
I
right.
was very happy to leave.
That's right. That's right. So
Yeah.
you chose my question to you. I mean, it's not being racist. I mean, we can all say, oh, xenophobe, feminist, racist, Nazi, fascist, all these buzzwords doesn't mean anything. I'm asking you a simple question. You've got a discretion and a choice which suburb, which area of California you want to live in. LA, San Francisco, San Diego, whatever you want to live in there. Is that correct? Like you got
Well,
a
I was
free choice.
limited by finances, but yeah,
Yeah, bingo.
yeah.
Exactly. All right. Yeah, and like everyone, here in Australia also,
Hmm.
nobody, you can't live in, Hollywood Hills. What's the Rodeo Drive, as I understand, in LA?
Rodale Drive. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not from that kind of
yeah,
money.
I understand. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So we are talking. We're not. No one's mentioning what my point, what my argument, what I'm going on about is we're all different in terms of our financial abilities, our education, and we live accordingly.
Hmm.
Now, my argument to you is you're again. I'm putting a proposition to you. Is everybody, myself, and my kids. I'm a grandfather. I've got 4 kids. Okay, I'm a lawyer, Australian lawyer. Uh, we want to live and better ourselves. And if you're
Jim,
married,
please don't patronise Carol. She's a very
what am I
intelligent
talking?
lady, and,
Yeah,
and,
I'm
and you don't need
not
to
so
go slow
patronising.
for her.
All right.
You're basically saying you prefer to live in a white neighborhood, and so does
Hmm.
Carol. What's the problem?
Exactly. Am I correct without being disparaging that you prefer to live in a majority white neighborhood.
No, I
It's
absolutely
beautiful.
state that. I prefer to live around white people.
Good.
I absolutely state that.
You are absolutely. I love you for
Mm.
that honesty.
Mm-hmm.
And can I ask the follow-up question? Is why?
Mm-hmm. Because I like the general behaviors of I don't want to say like the snob white culture of upper white culture. I like as opposed to low lifer culture. I like it that when people go, they wait in a line and they're not pushing each other. I like them having some body space around each other, although they've made it worse after COVID. I like the way that they're polite when they talk to employees, servants. Like if you're in a coffee shop, you speak politely to the person who's bringing you the coffee instead of acting like they're a piece of garbage. I like the way that they generally try to improve the aesthetics of where they live. I really like the way Germans do that. I like the white culture itself. I am white, and that's what I prefer. But it doesn't mean I can't live around a Mexican who generally
No,
behaves in a
I'm
white
not. I'm
culture.
not saying.
No,
I
I'm answering your question. So yeah,
absolutely.
I don't mind if there's some Mexicans around if they're acting
Whatever.
okay. And a
Yeah.
lot of Mexicans
Exactly.
themselves
Mm.
have a type of Catholic culture, the ones that are sort of religious and stuff. That they're okay to be around, but not as the majority. I want to live around white majority. And I like the way white people have long-term planning, that they kind of try to plan ahead. I prefer white culture, and I think white people do better in white culture. I don't think, for some reason, DNA-wise, we like a lot of chaos. I don't think we do as well in it. I don't think we do as well in these schools that are chaotic for our children. We like a more structured, for our own success. We're better off in our own culture. That's what I believe. Okay, but it doesn't mean I hate every other culture, and I'm more than willing.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not absolutely.
yeah,
I understand, and
yeah,
I'm on board. I concur.
yeah,
I'm not being
yeah,
disparaging.
yeah.
I live in Sydney, and I live in a suburb which is 98%. I won't say 95% white.
Right.
Right? You know, that's again, you can read anything into it. Oh, he's a racist, blah blah. No, it's not. It's a fact. What I'm saying is, birds of a feather flock together. That'd be right.
Mm.
Yes.
Sometimes, yes, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So by saying what you said and what I'm saying is are we inferring directly or indirectly or consciously or subconsciously that other cultures are not up to what you just mentioned, the positive reasons why you want to live in a white culture?
No,
Is that
I'm saying that's what I prefer. I'm not saying other cultures necessarily bad. I
yeah,
am involved in other cultures sometimes. I don't like a
so
lot of
am
stuff at it, but if you're from that culture, you understand it, you're brought up that way, and it actually fits you, then you would like that culture better. I prefer white people culture. I
I?
prefer being around white people.
Well,
And a lot of white people are very snotty to me because I'm Muslim. But I prefer going in a store, not getting pushed around, people being generally polite in public, not making a scene in a restaurant. I prefer being
yeah.
around that.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
On that point, look, I do a lot of pro bono work, but my wife is a lawyer. She works for legal aid, and she caters for the destitute, mainly
Mm-hmm.
Aborigines,
Mm-hmm.
and she, does all that work. She's a Catholic. We do all this. Anyway, I'm not going to go there and bragging about what I do or don't do, but this is the point. Look, we, in particular America, is so divided, and the Western world is divided, and you're being a Muslim, and you're being white, which is, I assume you've been a convert, Irish convert to Islam. Congratulations, got nothing against that. But I agree with Claire and yourself that Western so-called Christian culture is exponentially declining and falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
The whole civilization is falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
And in that sense, what I'm putting my hand up and I'm saying, yes, this may be so, but don't tell me that I should convert or not be proud of my heritage, my history, and my ancestry. And
Well,
I've
I
got,
don't believe in that. I don't believe
yeah,
that.
but well, Claire seems to be inferring, and please make sure that Claire corrects me. He says, if you are on a losing team, you should join the winning team.
Well,
And
I'm saying if you're on the losing team, take over the ideology of the winning team is what I'm
well,
saying.
no,
And that's
this,
what she's saying too, if you really listen to
why?
her.
Why?
Because you're losing. Christians
So,
have
so,
lost. They lost because
so can I
they
say
do
something?
not
I'm
have.
gonna, so you go on you're in America, you got
Mm,
NFL or basketball, whatever, your things, or here in Australia we've got rugby league and Aussie rules, and I won't bore you with that. And you go into a stadium and you got your scarf and you barrack for a team, and you're not in your state, and you're in a minority. There's only 100,000 people in a stadium, and there's only 10,000 of yours, and 90,000 is the big, stronger team who wins the game. Are
hmm
you saying to me those 10,000 should give in because they lost to the 90,000 who
No, I
actually?
didn't say that. I
So,
said people have to make decisions about how they're going to save themselves. If
well,
you believe, if
if I don't want to submit, and that's what Islam means, submit to Islam or Judaism or any other religion for that matter. What's the ultimate for me and my heritage? What do you
well,
do
I
with?
thought you said you were Catholic. Aren't you Catholic?
Of course I am.
Okay, well, so
Tradition,
you've submitted to the Catholic Church.
yes.
I don't see a problem with this. The point is, how do you save Western civilization in a situation where degeneracy and replacement theory has gone up so high that the entire civilization is being affected to
Yes.
where the environment is not conducive to the indigenous people of Europe or the white people in general? This is the problem.
Well,
Western civilization was the greatest civilization that existed. It
yes.
created the greatest amount of intellectual freedom among people. Unfortunately, a part of that was a
Yes.
rebellion against the Catholic Church, but it happened.
Yes.
It allows free thought. It allows all this stuff. That's what we like. Unfortunately, Christianity does not have a structure of laws that people understand as you can't go past and still be a Christian. It turned into a circular thing where the church is now accepting almost every single bizarre behavior, and it is not affecting
Absolutely.
politics and government anymore in a way we
Exactly.
would like to see.
Yes.
If Christians could
Yes.
get it
Yes.
together, that would be right on. But what we have in the United States is
Hmm.
we have a Christian Zionism that has been taken over. And
Absolutely. Oh,
unfortunately, that's not any good.
now you're
That's
getting
not
me
good.
started.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
anyway,
that's the problem. So,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So if you're secular Cornism, her idea is saying, yes, you can be any religion. Yes, the government can start talking about religion, and they would probably protect any Muslim believes that they must protect the church. This
But
is a point of law in Islam. If you have
well,
an Islamic
see,
state,
see,
you
see,
must protect the church.
yeah, see, the problem with which is, I agree 98% what you just said. The problem is the government does not allow you or disallow you your belief. Your human rights don't do not emanate from the government, any government. Christian Islamic government. It is innate. This is the belief of Christianity, particularly Catholicism. We're talking about human rights. It's not the government that allows you, excuse me, or disallow you or any person or group what your human rights, what you can do or can't do. And this is the problem of the French Revolution, where the papacy, the establishment of Christianity, Catholicism was totally defeated by Protestantism and Freemasonry. I shan't go into that. And secularism has taken over. And since then, I'm talking about mainstream, the whole thing of Christianity is Catholicism. As you know, the Protestant religion in England, for example, today you've got the female bishops and all this. That's all these poofters and feminists and etc. Nobody believes in that. And this is where the Catholicism is heading. And the beauty about the only sort of safe haven, as I see it, unfortunately, is orthodoxy. And the
Orthodox Church?
Yes, Russian Orthodox.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. The West, so-called West, is degenerate. It's decadent. I mean, every town, every city which has KFC or McDonald's, it is, whether you're in Sydney or New York or LA or San Francisco or whatever, is screwed.
Well, anytime you have a...
Again, I digress, and this is where Claire thinks I'm anti-Jewish. I'm not anti-Jewish at all, but I'm anti-Zionist. Is money talks, bullshit walks. You've got to ask yourself who's got the money and who's got the influence. And my suggestion, my humble research, I could be wrong, and I'm open to challenge and to apologize, is there's 200 countries in the world, and a small country in the Middle East. There's a huge empire called US of A. My question is, of all those things, every senator, every president, except the Catholic former assassinated president called JFK, paid homage to the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem. And they put the toilet paper in the crevice and put the little cap, small hat on there behind. If you want to be a senator or congressman or any politicians of any success in the US of A, that's my observation. Please correct me. Maybe don't read into my anti-Semitism. No, I think I'm talking facts as I see it. Please.
What's the solution? What's the solution you're suggesting?
The solution is talking in terms of America. I'm talking about in terms of Australia. We're nobody. In Australia, we just, hangers on of America, like Canada or New Zealand. We're nobody. The superpower is America. If America falls, we are up the creek without a paddle. What's the solution?
Well, if you believe that, then I would assume that you're promoting some kind of goal of save America and keep American hegemony. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but it won't be because of the influences of external influences.
So you're an America first kind of guy. That's what you're saying? Okay.
What I'm saying is as follows. Can I use an analogy? If I was a Martian and did not know anything about geopolitics, and I came to Earth and I say, right, who are the big boys? who are the players? And you get Russia, China, America, and there's about 198 other countries. And I say, right, and there's a country a small country in the Middle East, and there's a big country called USA, and there's an incredible relationship with those two countries in economics, finance, support, moral, political, you name it. Why? I'm a curious fellow. And who benefits? In Latin it's called qui bono. Who benefits from that relationship? Mind boggles. That's all I'm saying. That's my observation. Please challenge me, boys and girls. Maybe I'm misreading. Hello? Claire is gone. Everybody's gone. Can you hear me? Am I still on and do I have to get off? Claire, she fell asleep. Hello? Alright, I should bide. Good night or good morning to you. Ladies, we shall catch up next time. Thank you very much.